Alrighty, people. What
Yeah.
a last couple of days. What, like 4 or 5 days for the combine.
Yes, hold on.
So much happened. It took, obviously we do this, so I don't. This sounds lame, but it took a lot of effort to get everything together and organized for that video that came out today, the updated rookie rankings video. Just, you have such a short amount of time to turn stuff around and give you guys really good content, and I am very happy with it. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch the video. If not, give that a watch later. Updated Dynasty rookie rankings is out, and combine, unfortunately, look, we don't have everyone's testing information, right? I mean, some players didn't test enough to actually get an RAS, but there is enough there to really get a good gauge on players who have either risen or fallen in rankings, or as far as projected draft capital, that kind of stuff. We appreciate you for being here with us. Do us a favor, smash that like button to show some love. We got a like goal today of 100 likes. If we do, we'll do 2 rookie mock drafts. In fact, we've got 2 things on the docket today. Number 1 is a rookie mock draft. You're gonna have a chance to get in here with us, okay? Number 2 is reviewing some people's dynasty teams and getting them their dynasty playbook. That is the 2 things we have on the docket for today. What is up, Daniel Macy, our expert resident NFL draft countdown expert. 52 days until the NFL draft, which is absolutely bonkers. What is up, Mark? Wild. Welcome in. Connor says 52 days until we find out where the 2 scoots, which we love to see it. Charlie's talking about the landing spots for tonight's mock draft. You love to see it. What's up, Albert? What's up, Sammy? What's up, Scribbles, in the building? Frank in the chat is in the chat, and he's saying first time chatting on a live stream. Love the content, fellas. Welcome in, Frank. Good to have you here.
Talk it up, Frankie.
We appreciate y'all for being here with us. We're gonna have a splendid day, an absolutely splendid day. And I'm so excited for you guys to be here with us. Now, do you want to be a part of an upcoming video? That is the question I have for you just before we dive into the mock draft, okay?
I like the idea.
If the answer to that question was yes, I do want to be a part of an upcoming video, then all you need to do, and obviously if you don't have anything to contribute, then don't reply. But I put out a tweet today just about a couple hours ago, and I asked if you have traded for or traded away a 2025 first round dynasty rookie pick, send a screenshot below. All right, so if you're doing a startup and you traded picks, not going to be helpful. All right, if you traded a player and you want some feedback, not going to be helpful. But if you traded for a pick, and ideally in the last couple weeks, let's say you sent away the 101, you traded for the 102, you traded for the 105, you traded away, Trevor Lawrence for something, whatever the case may be.
Anything.
Reply to this tweet. We already have a ton of great real life trades to work from, and you will likely be featured in an upcoming video. So that link is in the chat if you want to contribute.
Yeah, I might submit a couple trades there. Why not?
Then definitely contribute. But we appreciate you guys for being here with us. Again, be a friend, smash that like button as today's stream begins. Have a like goal today of 100. If we reach that, we'll do a second mock draft with you guys before we get into them team reviews. But I appreciate you being here. What's up, Styles? Welcome in. Simon says, joined the live stream for the first time last week. Loved it, so I had to come back for the content. You love to see it. What's up, Jackson? He says, in Dynasty with IDP, where would you have Travis Hunter with that setup? It all comes down, because guys, if you play an IDP league, what you have to keep in mind is that every IDP league is different with scoring. It's not like PPR. Like, everyone has PPR, half PPR. All the scoring for like a tackle, an interception, all these things in IDP leagues are different. There's not like a standard set for the most part. So
exactly.
So yeah. Joshua says, I took what you guys said about trading Keon Coleman for my team. I had you guys review. A guy offered me the 105 for it. Joshua, do everything you can to go get that trade done, my friend. You'll be thanking yourself instantly. So definitely get that done. All right, we are going to do a 2025 Dynasty rookie mock draft, and you have a chance to get in with us. Now, Badaki, if people do want to join, how can they get in today's mock draft? What's the process?
Guys, all you have to do is join our Discord. That link is in the description. I just put that link in the chat there for you. It is first come, first serve. Okay, but all you have to do is join our Discord. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs to the left of your screen, and then go to announcements. That's where you'll be joining or have the ability to join each and every mock draft, whether you're watching now or later. It is first come, first serve. And I'll put that link in that chat here in 3, 2. There you go.
All right, first come, first serve. Now this will be a Superflex PPR Titan Premium mock draft.
That's right.
And we are using landing spots from Sammy Stack's latest 7-round mock draft. Shout out to our intern Sammy Stacks. He worked overtime because I have a video coming out soon with my personal updated Dynasty rookie draft. Okay, for you guys to view. This is a collective one. And he's been working overtime to get some great scenarios out there for us. But if you're watching this and you want to keep up with the landing spots, then go ahead and pull up that link. It's in the description. It's also in the chat. Okay, so this is the world we're going to live in today. If this is how the actual draft panned out, how would it impact Dynasty rookie draft? So we have Cam Ward going #1 overall. Now the consensus around the combine was that Cam Ward was most people's quarterback one, the vast majority of both scouts and, GMs, if you will. Now, if that turns out to be true, and let's say Cam goes #1 and Shedeur falls late first, of course we will readjust. But as of right now, hearsay, she said, he said, they said. Let's not change up, any opinions too much based off of that.
Sure.
Travis Hunter does go to the Giants at 3rd overall. Wow, I have not seen this mock draft yet. You and I are all seeing this at the same time. Ashton Genty goes 4th overall to the Patriots.
I ain't mad about it.
We see Shedeur Sanders 6th overall to the Raiders. Tet McMillan, Bryce Young gets a new shiny weapon over there in Carolina. Then we see Tyler Warren to the Colts at 14th overall. Luther Burden goes to the Bucks. I was seeing Luther Burden fall out of the first round in a lot of pre-combine mock drafts. And oftentimes when I'm defending Luther Burden, you guys know I love him, there's like 3 things people use. Obviously the production. They also say, well, he's not a good route runner, which I don't agree with. I can understand that there's some manufactured touchers. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the film speaks a different language. And they also question his athleticism overall. They say he can't stretch the field. He's not a great athlete. And you'll be surprised. I mean, some people are actually arguing that. I think he proved at the combine. All he did was the 40-yard dash. He'll do more at his pro day. But I think he proved that he can stretch the field at the combine, which he already proved on film. But I think he showed that he's a good athlete, even though we need to see more from his pro day. Colson Loveland goes to the Broncos. Could this be the next Joker for Sean Payton? Omarion Hampton goes round 1 to the Vikings. You love to see it. In fact, if you checked out my updated rookie rankings on today's video, you'll know how much I love me some Omarion. Matthew Golden to the Rams. Ooh, I want to see how far Matthew Golden goes up these boards if he's going round 1 to Sean McVay in that offense. Emeka Egbuka. And by the way, knowing Matthew Stafford's going to be there at least this year. Emeka Egbuka, the perfect fit in this offense. I think he actually complements Deebo Samuel, oddly enough. I think you can move both of those guys inside, outside into round 2. But the Commanders' landing spot, it's not less attractive. It's just more, it becomes a little bit more of like a Rome Odunze, JSN year 1 if a wide receiver goes there. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to question, okay, Terry's there, he's dominant. Debo's there, can he recover? Debo's going to be used, I think very effectively in the Cliff Kingsbury offense with the amount that nobody threw more screens than Cliff Kingsbury last year. So all I'm saying is it becomes a little bit more difficult to digest.
Yeah, I definitely get it. We can break it down a little bit more, but I think that would be really difficult if Debo gets an extension. What if he gets a 3-year extension or a 2-year extension? It just prolongs the whole situation.
Yeah. All right, in round 2, Jackson Dart goes to your Giants. Trey Harris goes to the Raiders. Then we see Quinshon Judkins to the Bears, linking up with Ben Johnson. Jalen Royals, my guy, to the Jets. You love to see it. Travion Henderson to the Cowboys. How about them boys? Then we see Caleb Johnson, still round 2 to the Steelers. I don't think his draft capital took a hit. I don't know why people are obsessed with the 40 time, but I don't think it took a hit. Jaden Higgins had a great day. I'm not gonna lie, Jaden Higgins to the Packers. I said the same thing when we talked about Jack Best to the Packers in round 2. I would have a tough time not being all in on that. Elijah Arroyo to the Chargers, 55th overall. Jack Best, oh boy, Uh-oh, Sammy whipped up some landing spots that we got to take seriously here. Jack Bech to the Texans, round 2. Alec Aomanor to the Chiefs, 63rd overall. Jalen Knoll, I love the round 2 pick. Hate the landing spot, but he had a great combine himself. Into round 3, where Scootin' Tootin' himself is taking his talents to Cleveland. You'll love to see it. Mason Taylor to the Saints. Isaiah Bond to the Bears. Dylan Sampson to the Raiders. Xavier Restrepo to the Cardinals. Harold Fannin to the Bengals. You know, I kind of had this feeling that Harold Fannin was more round 2 to 4 than he was locked and loaded round 2, like a lot of people felt. His combine wasn't bad, but I do think it's going to put him more round 3 than round 2, in my personal opinion. Then we see DJ Giddens to the Broncos. Cam Scatterbo to the Chargers. Incredible landing spots there. Torrey Horton, who had one hell of a combine, to the Jags.
That's crazy.
We see Damian Martinez, who had a great combine himself, to the Chiefs. Gunnar Helm, who, yes, tested poorly, but literally the man's ankle was swollen up like a balloon. So keep that in mind. Savion Williams to the Lions. Into round 4, where Devin Neal, Giant. Caden Prather, Bill. Trevor Etienne, Saint. Rashard Smith, Colt. RJ Harvey, Bengal. Tez Johnson, Titan. Ty Felton, Steelers. Let's see. Raheem Sanders, Raven. Ricky White, 49er. Into round 5. Last round we'll look at together, where Ollie Gordon is a Jaguar. Where's the Ollie Gordon hive at the moment? I don't think he had a bad combine, so there's no reason to say he did. He ran a 4.61, which is that is not a nail in the coffin for a guy like him with his size. Pat Bryant to the Patriots. Jalen Milroe to the Jets. Kyle Williams, my guy, to the Cowboys. I love to see that. Nick Nash to the Bengals. Colby Hudson to the Dolphins. Jarquez Hunter. They said, you know, we already got Marshawn Lloyd. Let's get another one. Will Howard to the Steelers. And if you want to look at the rest of these landing spots, again, the link to these landing spots are in the description. I'll also put it in the chat for you. So that's the world we're living in. It is a 12-team Superflex PPR tight end premium. Let's get this thing going here in 3, 2, 1.
A little bit of a scooting and a tooting.
Charlie said, Badaki, how you feeling about Jackson Dart on the New York Football Giants, if this were to happen?
Look, once again, one thing I've been saying, I just want change, and I'm really happy with it. And what is really encouraging from my perspective, because Zach asked me earlier in the offseason, who would you want on the Giants? I always said Cam Ward. And the fact that, it could just be all smoke, by the way, but the fact that everyone is like, it's Cam Ward right now, is very interesting. But once again, could be all smoke. But I'm also happy with Jackson Dart. If we go down this road where we get a Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and then get a quarterback, even if he doesn't work out, it's a second round pick. It's okay. Bring in my thing is, I don't want a Kirk Cousins and pay him $100 million, or Matthew Stafford, which I'm glad we didn't get. I don't want an Aaron Rodgers, because you have to start those guys, right? I mean, I guess it's good for Jackson Dart to sit behind those guys and learn, but
yeah, I think your ideal scenario is in my opinion at least, your ideal scenario is what the Falcons did last year in New York, where you draft a young guy that you believe in if he's available, but you also have a veteran that can help you win games right now. That would be my ideal scenario if I was personally a Giants fan, but I can definitely understand where you're coming from. And a lot of rumors right now are that they want to trade up. I don't know if you're hearing that, but
which makes me believe, if that is true, if that they want to trade up, which makes me believe they really want Cam Ward. And this whole Shador is smoke, but it's also Shador is also helping the situation, because he's talking about the Giants. He has the Giants cleats. He's doing all this. He's doing handshakes. But the Giants are nowhere near Cam. You don't see Dable, Joe Shane talking to Cam. You don't see them saying anything remotely about him. So I think it's really interesting with that whole situation.
The way this draft started was 3 running backs off the board. I don't think that's crazy. I think that's actually how I expected it to go, right? Genty being a top 4 pick, then you come back with the Martin Hampton first round capital to the Vikings. Love that. Obsessed with it. Travion Henderson, round 2 to the Cowboys. It makes a ton of sense. And then we see Luther Burden come off the board. He was the first round pick for the Bucks. So There's talks about the Patriots being interested in Chris Godwin. They did not place a franchise tag on Chris Godwin. That doesn't mean they won't re-sign him in free agency. They have done that very commonly. But now you're on the clock, and you go Quinshon Judkins. Where did he go?
Yeah, he goes to the Bears in the early second round, and that's what I was contemplating with Ted McMillan. But with Ben Johnson there with the Bears now, I mean, you saw how he was utilizing Jahmyr Gibbs. Not saying Quinshon Judkins is a similar prospect, but he can be utilized in the same ways, which is
it's like a juiced up version of Monty. And I said this on today's video, but my pre-combine for Judkins was David Montgomery. I think that's more of a floor comp now. He showed to be a far better athlete than David Montgomery, so it's like a juiced up version of what they did with David Montgomery, where you can give him 15 to 20 touches a game, whether that's targets or rushing attempts. He's definitely going to be your first and second down back in this scenario over DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was one of the least effective starting running backs in the NFL last year. So I think this makes a ton of sense. And, keep in mind, guys, we keep saying the strength of this class is running back. The strength of this class is running back. Then they go at the combine and the running backs dominate. And a guy like Quinshon Judkins definitely should be viewed in a higher regard after the combine, because I didn't think he was that type of athlete based on film, but he proved it on the field. Now, to be fair, he didn't have his pads on, but still, he had an incredible day, and it's going to lock him into second-round draft capital. And again, we always talk about historical hit rates. Why? Because over the last 11 years, they are the stickiest thing that you could possibly look at for Dynasty rookie drafts. And a second-round running back has a 71% hit rate. A round one wide receiver has a 53% hit rate. So it's not at all crazy for you to consider, if these running backs go in round 2, to consider them over some of the wide receivers. I don't think it's crazy whatsoever. I love Ted McMillan. I love Luther Burden, but I don't think it's some sort of crazy thing to consider, right? Right after that, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying, no, not at all. I was just agreeing with you.
So right after that, we have McMillan come off the board, right? You could argue that he fell, but these running backs have incredible draft capital historically, great landing spots. You could put McMillan as high as the 103 here in this mock draft, and you could put him at the 106. I don't mind that range personally. At the 107, we have Travis Hunter coming off the board. Now, Travis Hunter in this world was the 3rd overall pick to your New York Football Giants. So he's going to complement Malik Neighbors very well, hypothetically. Sorry, one thing I just wanted to quickly point out is I just retweeted this, but this was according to, I think, Destin Adams, who, if you don't know Destin Adams, I don't know him either. He's a beat writer and NFL draft analyst for A to Z Sports. He's a Colts beat writer. And, he wrote this. He said, I was able to speak with 8 total scouts. 5 of them shared with me that their team views Hunter as a wide receiver, and 3 of them had him listed as a cornerback. When asked if they have him having a role on both sides, they all agreed it would be a mistake not to utilize his unicorn ability to play both positions at a high level. I keep hearing more and more and more in the last 3 weeks that the NFL is seriously wanting to use Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. More and more consistently. Now, what I do believe is he needs to stay completely fluid in your opinion of where he's worthy of going until the NFL draft, and until we actually learn from the team that drafts him what their intentions are. Like, guys, I promise you, if he goes number 3 to the Giants, there's going to be an interview with Daboll, with all of those coaches, and they're going to say, what are you going to do with him? And they're not going to say, I don't know, we'll figure it out. No, they're going to tell you, we think he's going to be an elite wide receiver, and he's going to do this at cornerback, or he's going to play primarily cornerback for us, and he's going to moonlight at wide receiver. We're going to have those answers, and you're going to be able to draft Travis Hunter with confidence no matter what that looks like, right? So,
yeah, no, I completely agree. You're just going to have to play it out. I think the one scenario that we haven't spoken about really quickly, 2 alphas on this team. It's not like a Malik Neighbors and a Jordan Addison or Devonta Smith. It's 2 alpha number 1 guys. How does that work out in your head? Because that's what I've always tried to picture.
Yeah.
Imagine Malik and Travis on this team. Who ideally you think, not ideally, but you think they're just going to be 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, and guys, contribute in the chat if you have other opinions on this, but I think back to Marvin Harrison and, why is my mind blanking right now, Reggie Wayne, right? that worked out quite well. Those are two true
Sure.
number ones on their
I mean,
own.
we had an elite quarterback, though. To be fair, anyways.
That is very fair, right? I totally get that. I think back to Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. Okay. Before that, I think of Roddy White and Julio Jones. So it's not completely uncommon, right? But if you have the right quarterback, you're not asking questions. I think Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I think Puka Nacua, or I think Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, when Cooper Kupp was so dominant, right? Like two guys that finished top 12. So it takes the right quarterback, but it's not always a deal breaker, right?
I guess situation is different because, correct me if I'm wrong, Malik was a top 4 pick. Travis will be a top 3 pick in this scenario. Top 6 Malik was. But like Julio and Calvin wasn't a top 10 pick, was he?
He was a first round pick. Not top 10, but he was a first round pick.
He was a first round pick. I think like we haven't seen 2 top, specifically 6 in this scenario, picks be
I can't think off the top of my head a scenario like that. So it is an interesting conversation, but regardless, like you have to ask yourself, okay, if Puka Nacua, if you redid the draft, is he not a top 10 pick in that draft? You know, like Puka's not getting out of the top 10 if you redid that draft. So draft capital, I get that narrative, but at the same time, you know, it also, you know, it fails when you see just 2 elite guys. But it is definitely an interesting conversation. I totally get where you're coming from. All right, we are going to answer that super chat, but I just want to keep the draft going as well. So I'm on the clock here. I haven't even had a chance to look. So many great players have been taken. And I'm in a position where I really don't feel like I can lose. Two great quarterbacks in a super flex league are available to me. Wide receivers who have gone in round 1 are available to me.
Yeah.
As well as a running back that I still love in round 2. So many great options available. Now, in this world, if Shedeur Sanders is actually a 6th overall pick to the Raiders, and he gets to play with Brock Bowers, which actually fits his skill set really well, right? That short to intermediate game. He gets to play with Jacoby Myers. Tom Brady's in that organization. I would find it hard not to consider him here. However, I'm still going to go with Caleb Johnson. All right, I'm still going to grab Caleb Johnson. And, you know, he goes round 2 to the Steelers. I think the perfect fit to replace Najee Harris in that offense. An offense that is very run-centric, by the way. My comp for Caleb Johnson was Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, he tested really well in, like, the agility area and the explosion grade. But he didn't run under a 4.4 either. He had like a 4.54, I believe Nick Chubb's grade was. So some of these guys that, you know, are these pure runners, they might not have the same, you know, testing scores, but the film kind of speaks for itself. So I'm going to go Caleb Johnson there. 71% hit rate on a round 1 or round 2 running back. Then we have Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Matthew Golden, and Colston Loveland. And Badaki, we keep playing out scenarios and we keep telling ourselves, oh my God, this class is more valuable than people are giving it credit for. I feel that way right here, right now.
No question.
Like Matthew Golden goes, he went to the Rams, good pick. Colston Loveland he went to the Broncos, pick 20. But you still have so many incredible players available in the early 2nd round. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but you could make an argument that the early 2nd round is better this year than it was in 2024. You can make a strong argument for that.
Yeah, I think the only difference obviously was the quarterbacks, right? Like you were locked in quarterbacks in the first 6 picks.
That's fair.
And in this one, it just seems like you have, you know, 4 or 5 to lock in quarterbacks going in the first at least 7 to 6 picks. So yeah, I mean,
whereas the quarterbacks were the strength last year, the running backs are the strength this year. Yeah. And
next year's going to be wide receiver.
You know, Michael Penix was a locked and loaded pick for me in the 2nd round last year. We got him in a lot of leagues. But I think the class, while it has strengths in different areas, I still think it's very good. I mean, think about the early 2nd round of last year. It was Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks. And now hindsight's 2020, right? But if we look at the next coming picks here in the second round, I think we're going to make an argument that, hey, maybe this class, and we keep saying this, is better than people are actually giving it credit for. But what was the best value pick in round 1? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat, and we will hear your opinions. I'm going to go to the super chat here from Sherney real quick. Thanks for the donation.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
They say, how would you guys rank JSN, Garrett Wilson, and Achane in Dynasty full PPR? Picking at the 309 could also get the 102 if you think that's better. Okay, so JSN, Garrett Wilson, and Achane, I would rank them very close. Like if you're doing a startup, I think these guys are all going in round 3.
Yeah, round 3.
And I think it depends on how you're going to build your team.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Sherney's in a startup. They say they're picking at the 309, but the 102 is also available.
Could also get the 102 if
as in the rookie draft 102. As of right now, I think the 102 probably has more flexibility, and it will hold value stronger than any other name there. Like, I don't think the Dolphins are going to pick a running back in this class, but if they do, that could hurt the value there. If the Jets bring in a wide receiver, it's not going to hurt Garrett Wilson's value, but, you know, it will make you question the upside outcome with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. And it doesn't look like the Seahawks are going to draft or are going to trade Metcalf, but what if they draft one of these tight ends? So I think the 102 is probably going to retain value more over the next until the NFL draft, the next couple months. That's my opinion.
The next couple months. I think it just depends on, you know, if you have JSN. I think it might not, correct me if I'm wrong, but anything value around the 102, 103?
He is in that value for sure. But what happens if they draft? You know, we've seen people put Tyler Warren to the Seahawks in the draft.
I get that.
So
I definitely get it. I think my main concern would just be the quarterback play more than another weapon coming through. In the long term, right? What if this is Geno's last year? What's the quarterback play look like? Geno has been, you know, keeping them at the second half of the NFL draft the past couple years. But yes, 102 keeps his value. You can get more opportunity, maybe trade that if you really wanted to later on down the road as it gains value. So I'm with you there.
And the man himself, Mason Dodd, says, give me the 102, way more insulated, no risk on the outside. So he agrees, and that's the way we're going, Charney. Appreciate the love on the channel, my friend. All right, we asked the question, who is the best value pick in round 1? And here's what the people said. Tet. Simon said Tet, and totally understand that point of view.
Sense.
Tet's an incredible player. And this is just one example, right? But in this world we're living in today, you see this huge tier of fluidity from the 102, 3 to the 110, really. There's just this a ton of fluidity between what options, and you can make a case for any of these guys. Tet is an incredible player in his own right. We've got Ward, Hampton, Ward. A lot of people saying Ward, Loveland, Sanders at the 109. Trav, Lucas is saying. So a lot of people, who do you think is the best value before we move on into round 2, Badaki?
I mean, for me, it's always going to be the quarterbacks when they fall to the 109, 110. I would have taken them as early as the 106 personally. But it just all depends on your conviction on these players.
Totally. If you have conviction in one of these names, Sanders or Ward, first off, I applaud you. But if you have that conviction, you can take them as high as a 103, truly. Like, if that's how you feel, that is this huge tier. I don't think anyone made the wrong pick from the 103 to the 110, truly. When I look at that tier, I truly don't think there's a wrong pick there. That's how good this class can potentially be with these running backs potentially getting first, second round draft capital.
Yeah, completely agree.
All right, let's go ahead and continue here in 3, 2, 1. Literally, God says, I remember when people said Bowers was dead because he went to the Raiders. We definitely didn't like the landing spot. 100%. We didn't like the landing spot.
We did not like the landing spot.
We ended up putting Brian Thomas over him, Bo Nix over him, and that was a big controversy at the time.
Which I guess if you think about it, it just evened out. But like having a tight end and a tight end premium is pretty big. Like I think everyone, I think Would you rather have Bo Nix or Brock Bowers?
Most people are going to say Brock Bowers because Bo Nix is
in a super flex though.
In
yeah,
a super flex, I think
name.
even then most people are going to say Brock Bowers. But
yeah, that's so interesting. I think it's closer than we think personally. I think you can get more value for Brock Bowers right now, no question.
I don't
if you
think
wanted
so.
to sell him.
Oh yeah, sorry, Brock Bowers. Yeah, you're right.
If
sorry.
you wanted to sell him over Bo Nix, yeah, no question.
No,
but,
I agree with you there. Hey, do us a favor, guys. Hit that like button. Like goal today is 100. If we reach that, we'll do a second mock draft with all of you guys. But yeah, Brock Bowers, obviously, historic rookie season. Tyler Warren comes off the board here at the 201. And Tyler Warren was a first-round pick to the Colts. Now, if you're not an Anthony Richardson guy, you know, I understand him falling. But if Anthony Richardson doesn't pan out this year, I mean, they're going to replace him. He's got 1 year left. That's it. The leash is not that long. Egbuka comes off the board next. He was a first-round pick to the Commanders. That landing spot gets a little bit more difficult. It gets a little more difficult when you consider Deebo Samuel there, right?
Yeah.
Then we get to see Giddens coming off the board. He had a great combine. He went round 3 to the Broncos. And then we also got to see Cam Scatterbo, who went round 3 to the Chargers. So some incredible landing spots accompanied by decent draft capital is really pushing up this second round here, which we love to see.
Yeah, no question. I'm on the clock here. A couple of running backs. I personally really wanted big old Cameron Scatterbo. I love the Chargers landing spot, but I'm gonna pivot to a guy that you love probably wanted to take here. Unfortunately, I'll take Bashul Tootin. He goes to the Browns in the early 3rd, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. You're not mistaken.
You can hear Brooklyn. He's
I
like,
think Brooklyn's crying for me, actually. Those tears are for me, and I appreciate it, Brooklyn. As Bashul Tootin coming off the board. Yeah, round 3 pick to the Browns, an offense that desperately needs to reestablish their run game.
Big old scooting.
I talked about this in today's video, but before the combine, my comp for Tootin was Jaylen Warren, and then obviously he came out and he just completely dominated as an athlete and showed us that he's a far better athlete than Jaylen Warren. Now, I still think he plays like Jaylen Warren in the sense of, like, if you look at his missed tackles forced per attempt number, if you look at his yards after contact per attempt, constantly doing more with every attempt, the limits and lemonade factor, he is more Jaylen Warren than he is, like, you know, just some true speedster. But I think the better comp now that I came up with was James Cook. I feel like James Cook is actually a very good comp for him.
I love Jimmy.
Thinking about what he can offer in offense, right? And even right now, people are questioning, like, should we pay James Cook, even though he's been so good because of, you know, what he offers the offense. But that ended up being a really good pick for the Bills. Does that mean Tootin has round 2 potential? I mean, James Cook went round 2. I think it's more round 3 because it's such a deep class. But I think I really like that comp now, thinking about Tootin. And the only reason he's not even higher in my rookie big board is because you do get penalized in my scouting grades if you have a fumbling problem. And he had like 7 fumbles in the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it's definitely something to consider.
No question. Jackson Dart off the board going to my beloved New York Football Giants. I think if any quarterback goes as high as where Dart goes, I think he should be considered in the early to mid second round. Ollie Gordon goes to the Jags, if I'm not mistaken, in the 4th round, and you are on
5th round, actually. I
think 5th round.
5th round pick.
Oh gosh, he goes to the Jags there.
So I'm not gonna get on my spiel here. I'm not gonna say this is a bad pick. I'm gonna say if we're doing this exercise properly, and Ollie Gordon is a 5th round pick. I know everyone wants to label me the Ollie Gordon hater, but if he truly is a 5th round pick, and you're taking him here at the 207. I seriously question the outcome. You got a 19% hit rate historically on that pick. So just my opinion. I'm not the smartest guy out there, but just my opinion. All right.
Come on.
So we're trying to catch up there. I'm on the clock. Obviously, Dart went. I'm just looking at all my options here. Oh, dude. There's a couple. Oh, my gosh. Wow, there's a couple of round 2 picks here that are just...
Yeah, that was a guy that you liked. I figured you might be... I can't believe he fell this far.
Dude, there's like 4 guys I love here that I could draft. Genuinely. There's 4 guys. What you just said, there's 4 guys I could make that case for right now.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll be honest, though. As much as I love these guys, a round 3 running back is going to be tough for me to pass on here in this class. I need to think this through for a second.
Cinnamon.
Wow. Man, there are like 5 players I desperately want to draft with this pick. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize. Oh, my gosh. There's so many good players still available. Wow.
What does your rookie ranking say, though? What does your
the big board doesn't account for draft capital, so I have to kind of digest through that. But,
no.
Dude, I could go so many different ways here. All right, I'm going to choose an offense that I think desperately needs to establish the run game. Okay? And they get a player that I really love who didn't have the best combine, but I still believe in him. Didn't do a bunch of testing either. But he joins a backfield that is completely barren of talent. And he joins an offense that is led by Chip Kelly, who just led Ohio State to a championship. Incredible running back usage. And he joins a head coach in Pete Carroll, who his best years were built around good defense and a good run game. I think that's what he wants to do here in Las Vegas. So in round 3, Dylan Sampson. He goes to the Raiders. So that is going to be my pick here. Dylan Sampson coming off the board. Round 3 to the Raiders. Again, round 3 hit rate on a running back does have a better hit rate than a round 2 wide receiver. Jack Besh, another name I was desperately wanting to draft. You know, Jack Besh went round 2 to the Texans, which is...
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Dude, I want to go that route desperately. It's an incredible pick. It truly is. Jaden Higgins, another incredible pick. These are all great picks right here in the late second round. Round 2 to the Packers. The Packers, who are historically great at developing wide receivers out of round 2. And a team that just lost Christian Watson for the entire year. Romeo Doubs is up and down. I mean, oh my gosh. I'm just obsessed with the late second round in this scenario.
Yeah, Damian Martinez off the board there.
That's another guy I was like, man, I can't believe I have a potential starting running back to the Chiefs, round 3 there, available in Damian Martinez. He went round 3 to the Chiefs. And then Trey Harris, another great pick, man. Early second round to the Raiders. So Shedeur Sanders actually, by the way, has an offense that is built around... Let's think about this for a second. Because Jordan House at the 108 might have made the pick of the draft with Shedeur Sanders when we're thinking about this. Shedeur Sanders now gets Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, but he also adds Dylan Sampson. He adds Trey Harris to an offense that already has Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers. My goodness. My goodness. Absolutely love it. All right. That is the end of round 2.
Be careful.
I think the second round this year is better than 2024, dude. I really do.
Think it feels that way because all the people that we got in the second round last year didn't hit. I think that's why.
Yeah, that's fair. The second round was not good last year.
No, we were excited because of how like all these guys went second, third round. But you think about it, it was Ricky, Xavier, Polk. Who else went second? Brooks, Benson, Penix went the second.
To be fair, though, people were definitely questioning the Ricky Pearsall pick, and it just hasn't worked out yet. But he is shooting up rankings now,
100%.
as he should.
I have
with the
so
Deebo
much
Samuel
Ricky
trade.
Pearsall. Yeah.
All right, who's the best value in round 2? We ask you the question, and we want to hear your opinion. All right, so Tyler Warren, obviously, first-round tight end, right? That's a great pick. Egbuka, first-round wide receiver, fantastic pick as well. Y'all know how much I love me the Sampson, Besh, Higgins, Martinez, Harris picks. I think those were all fantastic picks, and this is no slight towards Ollie Gordon, but I just thought that they were better picks. Even history says they're better picks in this scenario. Okay, so this is what the chat says. We got a Besh submission. We've got a Trey Harris or Ollie Gordon submission there. Harris, Higgins, Egbuka, Warren, Martinez to the Chiefs. So a lot of different opinions there, which, again, shows the strength of this class. A lot of people have different names that they love. Anyone you want to shout out before we go on to round 3?
No, I think it's already shout out. It's Tyler Warren, top 8 pick in the draft. You get him at the 2-1. I know it's not a good landing spot. And yeah, I think the more and more, I feel like we have so much conviction on Brock Bowers that the landing spot completely overshadowed that I don't want to make the same mistake with this class.
Yeah.
So I just feel like if you're going to get a top 8 pick at the 201, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Like, we should all be looking at ourselves and be like, this is disappointing.
Totally, but then you look at the first round and you're like, I can't fault anyone for the picks they made.
I
right?
completely agree.
You look at Matthew Golden, who was a first-round pick over Tyler Warren. In this scenario, first-round pick to the Rams, knowing Matthew Stafford is there and knowing they want to move on from Cooper Kupp. You get Colson Loveland to the Broncos, who desperately need a weapon, right? You get 2 quarterbacks who went top 5. You get a bunch of running backs with a round 2 capital. It's like,
I think,
you know,
yeah. Specifically for this class last year, it was like, these guys are, Marvin is elite. Jaden is elite. May, like coming into that class, it was like, no matter who you take, you're going to hit. Here it's like, well, I think people are more leaning towards landing spot.
Sure, like the top end elite, like truly elite tags on prospects was higher last year. I 100%. Believe last year I had 4.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 4
sorry,
to 5.
I had 5 players tagged as an elite prospect in my grades. This year there's only 1. However, there are far more gold level prospects in my scouting grades than there was last year overall. So,
yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah. All right. That's the end of round 3. I appreciate y'all being here, hanging out, contributing in the chat. Alex, or James says, "Can we collectively stop pushing up Tootin?" I don't think it's going to stop.
He pushed himself up.
I don't think it's going to stop. I think he's locked and loaded into the second round. Hey, guys, do us a favor. Smash that like button to show some love. Got a like goal today of 100. If we reach it, we'll do a second mock draft with you guys. We're only 18 likes away. Appreciate the love and the support. Let's get into round 3. Still a lot of great picks available in this one. Still a ton of names that I want on my team.
Yeah, let's see where I can go. See one. Let's have a look. Jalen Royals.
Great pick, man.
He went to the Jets.
Fantastic pick. Went to the Jets round 2,
that's
right?
That's who I had. Yeah, round 2. I had Elijah Royals. Like, if he can fall to me.
Another incredible pick. And Elijah Arroyo, round 2 to the Chargers with that offense. What we saw Will Disley
third
do.
round.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I'm about to bust.
Oh boy, be careful.
My wife just gave me the most like judgmental look I've ever seen in my life. Arroyo off the board. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Obviously, he didn't get to test at the combine, but yeah. Ethan says, "Isn't Ricky still wide receiver 3 behind Ayuk and Jennings?" He could be. I think, you know, with his talent, the first round capital, I think they'd like to see him to develop into a more prominent guy for them. But there's also talks about Ayuk potentially being traded, which I'm not going to say that I have any insider information, but Ayuk could also be traded. You think about it, they're going to have to move on from some of these guys. They've already done it with Debo, but Ayuk, he could be next.
One of the biggest reports that I heard was that if I'm not, John Lynch, he was like, we want to get young, right? Yeah. So they have a lot of older pieces on both offense and defense, and Debo was just a casualty, to be completely honest. You just had to get rid of him because I think he's just easier to sell in the market right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, we had RJ Harvey and Devin Neal come off the board, both 4th round picks, both great players. You know, JMB asked the question, are you worried Arroyo's always hurt? Is that JB as in JB? RJB? Or is that a different JB? I'm trying to tell by the profile picture.
No, that's not RJB.
We have one of our really close friends, his name is JB, and his middle name is Michael. Anyway, I can definitely understand the question, but to be fair, he did play all of 2024. He just happened to deal with an injury for the combine. But when watching the combine, he mentioned that he would have played if it was a game. He just didn't feel a need to test out there during that day.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? I go Harold Fannin, Jalen Milroe. He goes to the Jets. Fannin goes to the Bengals. There.
Yep. Harold Fannin had a fine day. I don't think he really improved or hurt his draft capital. I think it was more of a neutral outcome for him. So Fannin, he went to the Bengals, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so Jalen Milroe off the board, and in this mock draft, Jalen Milroe went to the Jets, which is definitely intriguing, but he did it in round 5.
Yeah, not ideal.
As LR football is on the clock, he went Hunter and then Gordon with his first 2 picks.
It really falls off here, I think. I'm just seeing if there's anyone else. Bond.
Isaiah Bond.
I mean, just keep your mouth shut, brother.
What?
So
Me?
you had, no, not you, Isaiah Bond.
Oh, Isaiah Bond. I was like, wow. Yeah, no, he shouldn't have claimed that he was going to break the record. He just set terrible expectations for himself. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, it was just, I laughed.
Yeah,
I
a
laughed.
bit silly.
It was just, yeah, it was really bad. And then it came nowhere near the time.
Not
I
even
get
close.
I get it if he ran like a 2.5, like a 4.25, maybe a 4.26. You know what? He was closer than I expected him to get it.
Yeah.
But my guy ran a 4.4. That is just.
I do think there is still one player on the board that probably should have went ahead of a lot of these players in round 3. I am not the biggest fan of his film overall, but he does have a lot of hype in the community. He went round 2 here. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs, and he had an incredible combine. That's Alec Ao Manor. I'll take him off the board here at the 308. In my opinion, if this was the real NFL draft and he goes round 2 to the Chiefs, I don't think he's actually getting close to the 308. He's probably late second range if that were to be the real world,
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I definitely considered him. It's just hard to see where he was going to fit. Xavier, right? Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Richie Rich. Obviously, Travis Kelce is there. He said he's coming back. I don't know what's going to happen with Devontae Adams. It's not Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, even though that doesn't really mean anything to me. But
they actually mentioned, it's just a rumor, but they mentioned that he could be cut this week.
that was Devontae, not DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams.
Oh, Devontae Adams.
I messed up. It was meant to say,
Yeah.
I meant to say DeAndre Hopkins, not Devontae Adams, but yes.
Evie says I still have Sky Moore PTSD. Well, to be fair, we did see a hit round 2 with Rashee Rice from this team, right? As Xavier Restrepo and Jalen Knoll come off the board. Love Jalen Knoll. Just really wasn't a big fan of his landing spot. Actually, not that different, I guess. It's like a lesser version of what happened to Ricky Pearsall, maybe, with him going to the Eagles round 2.
Yeah.
Restrepo was to the Cardinals. Safe pick there. Alex says, does Samson being the youngest in the whole class move you at all? Not really. I'm not someone who's really a stickler on like age-based outcomes, unless it's dramatic, and it certainly doesn't hurt Samson's case that he's a very young player, but to me at least, it doesn't indicate that he has like a better chance to succeed in the NFL. But you look at a name like Woody Marks, for example, who I really liked earlier in the process before I dived into more film. And before I realized he's going to be like 25 as a rookie. And like in that scenario is like, okay, it's really like, okay, so the best case outcome there is that he turns into Tyrone Tracy at best. It was hard to get on board. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I understand.
Love the Brashard Smith pick, by the way. Huge fan of that move there. He's actually my 26th ranked player, but yeah, the Colts spot was tough to get on board with.
Yeah, just not ideal, man. Just not sure. Colts just seem
with JT there. I mean, they definitely need a compliment to JT, so I like it as a team fit, but I don't love it from the perspective of, you know, fantasy football value. What's up, Matthew? I appreciate the donation, man. He says, smash that awesome. Like for the koalas. We love you both. Thoughts on DK being traded? What's best landing spot? Also, 12-team Superflex China Premium. Would you give JSN in the 308 for the 104 and the 204? Wife said Ricky is wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. You love to see it. You know, it's funny. When that trade happened, I actually thought about your playbook, and I thought about the review we did for you, and I was like, there's no way his wife's about to give him Ricky Pearsall anymore. But first thing with DK is a report came out today that they have not talked to anyone about trading him. So it sounds like all the talks about him potentially being traded were more rumors than facts at this point.
Yeah, but it's been like over a year and a half now. That's why I don't think that's why I agree with what you're saying. It feels like that, but even last year was like, oh, he's going to get traded.
Right.
And now it's happening again. Like, it just feels too common.
But last year there was never a time when the organization said, yes, we are letting him seek trades. It was all rumors. I understand. And it's the same thing this year, so it kind of feels like it's just more hearsay.
Why is DK the name of every not every year, but anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like his name is constantly coming up.
They have said that they're not gonna trade him, so that is something to consider. But as far as JSN and the 103 versus the 104 and 204, 104 is kind of the range for JSN. I think some people are willing to pay the 102, so I'd be willing to pay the 104 and the 204 for JSN for sure. If wide receiver is an area that is going to improve your team, I have no problem with it.
Would you give JSN the 306 for the 104 and 204? Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it.
I am okay with it.
You know, I do think there is a scenario in which the draft goes a certain way where those picks at the top gain value. But like, let's say we get 3 running backs in round 1, you might end up regretting that move. Now, that is not a likely outcome, right? So it's tough to tell you exactly what the pick's going to be valued at because right now it's projections, but I don't mind that overall as far as keeping JSN. But he's saying give JSN, so sorry, we wouldn't do that deal. My bad. We wouldn't sell JSN for that price. I read that incorrectly.
Right. Yeah, so the opposite. Yeah, because we just had a question earlier about JSN. We were talking about the 102.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. So we would keep JSN over the 104. But I mean, in this scenario, you got Luther Burden and Cam Scatterboo. Luther Burden, who went to the Bucks, and Cam Scatterboo, who went to the Chargers in the early 3rd round. So if you're in this world, would you do that trade?
No, because I just know JSN's a hit. You know,
yeah.
I just rather take the guaranteed asset. Is the way I view it, but I wouldn't fault anyone if they had enough conviction on this class to lean that way. As Jaden Blue comes off the board, Devin Neal was drafted at the 304. Okay, good to know. That's a great pick. Okay, Trevor Etienne, super interesting here, but the Saints is not ideal. Tez Johnson was already drafted. Ty Felton had a nice combine. I think he's going to be moving up draft boards. Raheem Sanders already was drafted. Now I'm getting in round 5. Things get a little messy down here. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a my guy here. Oh, there's 2 my guys available, though. All right, we're going to take a my guy. Probably my only true sleeper left in the class. No one's a sleeper nowadays in Dynasty football with Twitter and social media and YouTube. Like, there is really no sleepers. Everyone knows every name. This is the one name that I feel probably actually fits the sleeper tag. That's Kyle Williams. In fact, he's not even on the freaking ADP. So we're going to take Kyle Williams. It'll show up as Baylor Cup. 2 Baylors, 1 Cup. But
Whoa,
That is actually Kyle Williams, just so you all know. He went to the Cowboys, and he did it in round 5. And he's the next great round 5 pick. Put it on the board.
Put on the board. Will Howard, Xavier Williams off the board.
The roll says, remember Ian Book, anyone? I had so much hope for him in Trask. Yeah. Matthew, what's up? He says, I'm here for the Cam Ward propaganda. You love to see it. Alex says, what do you think is the best trade destination for Michael Mayer?
I mean,
That's a
there's
great
a
question.
couple good landing spots I think of. I think of somewhere like, even though it's not going to happen, I think of like the Chargers. That's like in division. Chargers, that would be really nice. I think of Denver, is getting like a Loveland in this landing spot, or in this mock draft.
Someone could get him really cheap. We loved him as a talent coming out. Someone could get him
100%.
super cheap right now.
We really liked him.
A second round talent, you can maybe get him for a 5th round pick or something crazy.
Yeah, 100%. That's probably where I would say those are the 2 landing spots I really like. I mean, I could be biased and say my Giants, but I really like Theo.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
Yeah, I think those are all pretty good landing spots. I think one underrated one might be Tennessee. I think they could really use a big body, kind of traditional tight end with receiving upside as well. That's right, Lucas. The Wazoo boy different. Actually, some people are saying wherever Cam Ward gets drafted, expect Kyle Williams next because they have that connection at Washington State. Could be cool. Could be cool to think about.
Cool.
But of course, we propped Troy Franklin way too far up draft boards last year because of the connection at Oregon, and that didn't work out. But what can you do? Yes. Thoughts on Savion Williams to the 3rd? Cade says, I think he's a very unique player, but the issue is, number one, I don't really know what he is in the NFL. You know, these kind of Swiss Army knife guys, I don't know exactly what their roles are going to be. But number 2, the Lions are just a bad landing spot as far as trying to understand where
where that production is going to come from. Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, J-Mo. You got both of the running backs in the backfield. Now you have to implement somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
With Ben Johnson no longer there. That's also going to be another learning curve for everyone
100%.
In the Dynasty community as well. So, cool.
All right. We did reach our like goal, by the way, which is incredible. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for getting us to that over 100 like goal mark. Y'all are awesome. We did reach that goal, which means we are going to pop off a second mock draft for you guys before we get into these team reviews. I'm going to sit out on this one so we have more people who are able to join.
I was going to say that. We should do like a little quick Q&A or something and while people mock. But yes, as you send me that link, or you can send the link out if you like. I'll tell them how to join. Join our Discord. That link is in the description, and that link is also in the chat. Okay. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, and then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft when you are watching this, whether you're watching this now or later. But it is first come, first serve. And if you join the first mock draft, let somebody else join. Give them a chance. Go for it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading a really funny comment. Chuck Man said, Zach, prior to season asked about outlook on Rico as my only starting running back. You said, close my eyes and wish he was something else.
Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. Can he become relevant? Fringe guys like Rico in a class like this, I mean, I would sell for a second in 2039. I would sell for 2/3. You know, I don't think that he's safe. Yeah, and he had a good year. But I just think it's an area they're definitely going to address. All right, so we're going to do the same settings, guys. We're going to let you guys kind of take over this one. 12 team, Superflex, PPR, tight end premium. Let's just say 0.5. All right, 30 seconds on the clock. Maybe we'll change that. Yeah, we'll change that to a minute just so it's not too chaotic. But you guys make your picks, and we'll kind of go through them, but also talk about the chat. I want to look at the chat and do some Q&As as well. As Ash and Jinty goes at the 101. Matthew's in the building. You love to see it. Okay. Oh no, you're good, Chuck, man. Showdown says if the Patriots ended up with Jinty, it's because they traded back. Definitely possible. Definitely possible.
It's definitely a possibility, yeah.
David says, I grabbed Mayer for 25 fab, and I've been holding on to him specifically for the value of if/when he gets traded. Very smart move. Very smart.
That is huge. I did that in a couple leagues the other day, actually. I was going through all our leagues.
So,
and I did pick him up. Got you.
If you remember last mock draft that we just did, a lot of people commented and said Tet McMillan fell way too far at the 106, and you can make that argument. You could totally make that argument. I think there's a lot of fluidity personally. And we did it again, and he still fell to the 105 in this scenario. With all these backs that we love that got round 1 and round 2 draft capital, it still pushed him down with a whole new group of people. So you can see the range of outcomes in this huge tier that we love, right, from kind of the 103 to the 110 area. And Tet is just as worthy of being up there at the 102 than any one of these other names, I think. It's just there's a scenario where this class looks very stacked in that tier.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think what Kate is saying, so what landing spot does Tet get over Marion? Or do we think of Marion's dead set 102? I personally think Tet has to go to a quarterback everyone feels comfortable with, or it's going to be a Marion. It can be a Marion in the second round to the Giants, to the Raiders, to the Bears. I think they will still take him over Tet going to the Panthers in this round. But maybe he goes to the Patriots at the 104. I think then people are scratching their head. People are really pulling hairs.
Well, I said this in today's video, which feel free to go watch it. I do a bunch of yapping. We talk a bunch about the combine. Where is it? In today's video, which is updated rookie rankings, I'll put that in the chat if you want to go watch that later, or bookmark it, or save it for later, whatever. But my opinion on the situation is I think Hampton's done enough to lock himself into round 1. Now, if he doesn't go round 1, I definitely think we'll reassess. But I believe he's done enough to lock himself into round 1. And guys, if any running back goes in round 1, I will always take them over a wide receiver that went in round 1. I don't care if Tet McMillan goes to the Patriots. I don't care. If Amarion Hampton goes round 1, if Judkins or Henderson go in round 1, I will always and forever take the running back over the wide receiver. Because not only, if you look at star status, is the hit rate far better. It's like 86% compared to 53% for a round 1 running back and wide receiver. But if you go beyond that and you look at superstar hit rates, which is a top 12 points per game season for a running back and a wide receiver, running back still up at 79%, wide receivers down at 28%. So even if you're wanting to see the ceiling outcome for these players, it happens far more often for the running back who goes in round 1 than for the wide receiver who goes in round 1. So for me, if any of these running backs go in round 1, I don't think there's a scenario where Burden and McMillan, there's not a landing spot they could go in where it would change my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. And I get what you're saying with the numbers, but I think a lot of people that maybe are new with us or don't have those numbers or understand those numbers still.
Yeah.
I think I'm still going to go based off landing spot. Based off
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, my personal opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And, like, I just think if once they put a name, like if Tet goes to, let's not even say New England. Let's say he falls and he goes to, like someone said Denver, someone said Denver or the Texans. I think they would like that because he's linked up with CJ Stroud.
Sure.
Not because of his draft capital, just because of who he's paired with. Where Amarion going to the Vikings in the first round, it's like, oh, he has to compete with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson.
Well, not for carries.
Great offense. But not for carries, but like in general, like, you know,
to be the focal point of the offense.
Exactly.
I mean, look, I can definitely see like the consensus still putting Tet at the 102, and I'm not going to fault them for that at all. But, you know, I would have a really tough time going against history. Like, you have 11 years of data. So I could see Consensus doing it, but I probably wouldn't be able to do it myself. By the way, in round 1, we had Genty, Hampton, Judkins, Henderson, McMillan, Burden, then Ward Sanders. Ward Sanders just as worthy of going at the 103 than anyone else. But they did fall to the 107, 108. Then Golden, Johnson, both of the tight ends, and Warren and Loveland come off the board. Then in round 2, we see Hunter, Harris, Egbuka, Giddens, Sampson, Scadaboo, Tootin. I mean, I'd love to know what the record is for the most running backs drafted in a rookie draft. Like, based off ADP. I wonder what that record is in a 4-round draft. If someone wants to do that research and present it tomorrow on stream, let us know. But I think this could be
surely it has to be the 2019 class, 2018 class.
2017.
It's 2017?
Yeah.
So who was it was
that was the Dalvin year, the Alvin year, the Aaron Jones year, the Chris Carson year, the
all those guys had to go in the first round, no question.
Well, no, Chris Carson, a lot of these guys were they hit even though we didn't expect it to. So Aaron Jones was a 5th round pick, Chris Carson was a 7th round pick. Alvin Kamara was a 3rd round pick. But there was still like that top end talent as well in the class with Dalvin Cook, who went round 2. Leonard Fournette went round 1. CMC went round 1. Cook, Mixon went round 2. Then in round 3, you had Kamara, Hunt, Connor.
Yeah. I just remember, I think I remember that year because I remember doing a draft on like ESPN.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone, I just specifically remember that they liked Leonard Fournette over CMC at the time.
Right.
And everyone was like, yeah, no, he's locked in. He's locked in the 1st round pick. And just like in a 1 quarterback, like redraft league. I just remember that. Classic.
You know, sorry, I just saw a comment on our video because I accidentally called I accidentally called Santonio Holmes. San Antonio Holmes. I don't know if you saw that.
No. That's funny.
Because he was the closest comp, I think, in RAS's databases to Matthew Golden.
Good old San
Antonio. Which I can definitely
Holmes.
see that. But I accidentally called him San Antonio Holmes. A lot of people are having fun with it, and some people are being serious. Like, this guy doesn't know football. He said San Antonio Holmes. I would encourage anyone who is ever judging people for saying small little errors on videos, please go make content. Please go make content and put it out to the public, because you'll realize how easy it is to accidentally say the wrong thing. But I thought it was hilarious. San Antonio Holmes. Now that's his name. His name is now San Antonio Holmes. You know, I love them big old women in San Antonio.
Big old.
You know what that's from?
No, not at all.
That's from Charles Barkley. NBA on TNT. It's an all-time legendary moment. He has this like forever beef with women from San Antonio.
Oh, does he? I just it always pops up of him like saying, "Yep, he has some, he has to go against like big old balls or something like that." Like he's just saying something inappropriate, and like Shaq is just laughing at him.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that recently, and Shannon Sharp, Lakers in 5.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp.
Chris Paul, C3PO.
Yeah.
something, Lakers in 5.
He's he's one of those analysts that like they just kind of yell when they're on their TV show, and they're like, okay.
That's kind of
I
might be racist. I'm joking.
Well, how is that racist? Because he's black.
I'm just joking.
Plenty of analysts yell who are white, by the way. We get RJ Harvey at the 210. Jaden Higgins, Jalen Royals off the board in the 2nd round. Dart at the late 2nd round. In the 3rd round, Devin Neal, Ollie Gordon. That feels more palpable to me. If you want to take him, like at the 302, that feels more doable. Jack Besh, Damian Martinez, Alec A.O. Manor, and Harold Fannin all off the board. Damian Martinez in the 3rd is wild. Sparrow says he tested really well, man. Joshua, he loves the thick women from San Antonio. Which is hilarious. I'll never forget that. What's up, Chuck? He says, guys, thoughts on Penix as your quarterback in Dynasty? The community seems to feel his ceiling is very limited or capped. I have Caleb, Fields, Penix, and Russ. Who would you build around if Fields is a Jet? I build around Caleb and Penix.
Penix.
Very easily. And if people are questioning Penix's upside, literally his third start, he had over 31 points in fantasy. So I don't think we've seen the best version of Michael Penix yet for fantasy football.
Jair Alexander. Well, ultimately,
they'll release him.
I mean, my guy can't stay healthy, to be completely fair.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But is he on his second contract? He has to be. Or are they releasing him?
Well, he was on a big contract, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Lakers in 5. Connor says, I know Zach's a movie guy, not sure about you, Badaki, but you guys should watch Nickel Boys. Was nominated for Best Picture. Watched it last night and it was incredible. I've never heard of Nickel Boys, and that is surprising because I am typically on top of these things.
I keep seeing there's a movie that I keep seeing about it won awards, and it's like some dude playing like a priest.
Oh, that's Conclave, which is
Conclave.
Good. Yeah, which is really good too.
And I just keep seeing that everywhere on social media, and people are saying that it's amazing.
Does anybody else have Letterboxd? I be on Letterboxd all the time, bro. It's like my favorite app. It's like where you can have people follow you, and you can have friends, and you can see like what they're watching, and then you can see their reviews of movies, and they can like leave a review of it, and you can save like a watch list. Anyway, I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
I don't watch movies that often, unfortunately, so I don't do it.
Yeah, I also agree with Simon. Like the reviews on Letterboxd are actually pretty reliable, because there's no like money in these, like IMDb. You don't know exactly where the reviews, what their intentions are. What's your top 4? Evie says my top 4 right now on Letterboxd. Now, don't judge me, all right? This is just my top 4. Here's my top 4. Are you ready for this?
Scared this.
No, I'm not scared. I ain't scared.
Okay.
This is my top 4.
I ain't scared.
All right, so we've got Prisoners. I mean, if you haven't seen Prisoners and you're a thriller person, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Right after that, we've got 7. All right. What's in the box? What's in the box? Parasite, right after that. And then 1917. Guys, when this movie came out... Huh?
I didn't realize you liked 1917.
Bro, when this movie came out, I was living in LA when 1917 came out, and I was a AMC Stubs member. Let me tell you something. When you're an AMC Stubs member, you can go to 3 movies a week. It's incredible, dude. I used to work remotely I was a promotional producer for this TV channel, and I used to work remotely. I would get my work done in like 3 hours. And then on the clock, I would drive to the movie theater and watch a movie. It didn't matter if I wanted to watch the movie. I could see 3 movies a week. All right? Incredible. And when that movie came out, 1917, I was so obsessed with it. I watched it 5 times in theaters. That
was me with like the OG Fantastic Four. I thought it was a shit. I watched that like 4 times. I swear to God. I remember.
The cinematography in 1917 and the creativeness that they had to make it one shot. Now, technically, it's not all one shot, but it's shot as if it's all one single shot the entire time is, I think, the most beautifully made movie on any war ever, personally. So,
but I think you're also a big war.
I love war movies.
You love war movies.
I will watch documentaries about World War II and World War One or any war. I'm just obsessed with learning that history. So yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for those.
It's all about the history. I like the gossip. I'm all about that trash TV, Give me some Love Island.
I don't mind trash TV. I'm not opposed to it either. By the way, we had Restrepo off the board, Isaiah Bond, Tez Johnson goes round 4. I think you'll start seeing him more and more round 4 coming up. Jalen Milroe into round 4. Raheem Sanders is a nice little pick there. Torrey Horton as well. Nothing seems too out of ordinary with this mock draft here. No, I think all these picks make sense.
Yeah, biggest difference from last one, Trey Harris went at the 2-12.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
He goes to the 2-1. And that's about it. Elijah Royal goes in the second round.
2-11, which that's pretty good value there. Yeah. Connor, we said I'll have a look at you guys your follows afterwards on Letterboxd for sure. Yeah, Sparrow, I'm actually going to watch Mickey 17 this Friday, actually. This Friday.
Mickey 17, what's that?
It's an upcoming movie. It's got the guy who played Batman recently, and he was also in what's his name? He's a great actor.
The guy that played Batman.
The most recent Batman.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Is that a war movie as well?
No.
Okay.
No. Twilight. Yeah, he was in Twilight. Zach, watch Come and See. Far and away the best war movie ever. Okay, Come and See. All right. Let me see. This is the best thing about Letterboxd is if someone has a recommendation, you can just search for it, add it to your wait list or to your watch list. Is it Come and See? There's a lot of Come and Sees. Is it 2016?
Oh, there's a lot of what and what? Say that again.
Actually, there used to when I lived in Kansas City, there was a gas station called Come and Go. It was spelled K-U-M.
You kidding?
No, I swear to God. Yeah, Come and Go.
Not real.
Yeah,
I want to look that up, but I feel like it's gonna be inappropriate.
I promise you, it's real.
Look it up. Show me.
I promise you, it's a real place. I don't know which one of these to highlight.
They said that's true. They just renamed. They're in Iowa and Illinois. What? That's crazy. How is that possible?
100%. Trying to catch up with the chat here. I love all the conversations.
Gas station. What the hell?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Come and go. I mean, it makes sense. You come and go, but I mean, it was the easiest thing to laugh at when you're a kid, even now as an adult.
Who is thinking? I mean, this is just middle of America, surely. Like,
Midwest,
you're not getting it. Anyways.
Yeah, Midwest. I mean, you know.
They're crazy over there, aren't they? Y'all crazy over there.
Yeah.
It's going the way its new owners rebranding all of its locations. Yeah, because it's probably inappropriate as hell. Put that in the Bible Belt of America, people will be... They'll protest outside of every single one of those stores.
Nah. Pump and Dump is actually hilarious, yeah. Come and Go is going away, new owners rebranding. So what are they rebranding it to? Like, what's the new name for Come and Go? Yeah, 100%, Evie. If they're not called Come and Go, you'll never see me in their stores again. I will never step foot. I will always go to Quick Trip or Buc-ee's instead now. I don't even live there, so I'm sure they don't care. It's called Came and Went now.
I think it's Maverick rebrands. Maverick?
Like Maverick?
Well, I think maybe that must be... I don't know. I just looked up Come and Go rebrand, and it says renamed as Maverick.
Justin Tucker bought them out. Oh my gosh, y'all are on one today. I love it. All right, guys, that is it for the first portion of today's stream where we do these Dynasty rookie drafts. We had a lot of fun, talking shop and also, just having fun in the chat. It's a 2-part stream. All right, the first part was doing these Dynasty rookie drafts. The second part is helping people by reviewing their team and giving them their team playbook. So if you're out there, we're going to do our little spiel here for a second, just so people know. If you want to get your team playbook, which we'll talk about what that is in a second, you can become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll put that link in the chat. That link is actually in the chat right now, and I will make it the pinned comment. But what is a team playbook? Maybe you're like, all right, playbook. What the hell is a team playbook? It is essentially a customized game plan for your offseason with customized trade targets. Understanding what to do with like your draft capital, what your league settings mean for your league. But use the promo code LAND to become an annual Mother Flocker member, or you can purchase one through the Flock store, regardless of what promo code you're on. Just make sure you get the live tier if you want it done live. It's a great time to sign up. We have a couple offline reviews that we need to do. Bayou Blaze, I actually read the comment section. He wants his done offline. Yeah. But we have AP8 here, as well as JJM. Those are the only current reviews in the rotation. In fact, for today's stream alone, we have one spot available for anyone who wants to sign up and get their review done today. But you know, if you're watching this later and you want your team reviewed, you can sign up at any time and get yourself into the queue. Of course, we're always streaming. We're always doing these and turning them around as quickly as we can. But again, if you become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, you get the playbook, you get a rookie report, you get the free trade question vouchers, unlock our rankings, premium tools, databases, everyone's draft guide on the site. It is the best bang for your buck. And you also, by the way, get any discounts off future purchases on the Flock store. So it is by far the best bang for your buck. But look, of course, if you're a member with a different promo code, let's say you signed up with promo code Flock, you can still purchase one a la carte. That's just by going to the Flock store or by using the link in the chat. We have a couple questions here that are submitted that are trade questions. So if you guys don't know, you can submit a trade question on the site as well through the Flock store. You actually get a free trade question voucher when you become an annual member. But let's start with these trade questions. You can submit a question to the site at any point if you want, and we'll get to it on stream just so you guys know. Tepper08 says, is this a good trade where my team stands? They would be sending away Saquon Barkley and receiving Devon Achane. I'll say this, just from the very beginning, I think you can net more out of Saquon than Achane.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think it's far off, but I think you can net more. And if we look at his team currently has Josh Allen. It's a one quarterback league. Achane, Taylor, Cook. So he might have already taken the trade. Nico, Ladd, Shakir, Kupp. It's a start 8. I probably would have preferred to keep Saquon with that team.
I think it just depends on your conviction on what, is Saquon going to fall off anytime soon? Achane, what is that going to look like? Are they going to bring in anyone else? Does Jalen Wright get more opportunity? In reality, you're pivoting down, but to a younger player. It doesn't feel that far off, though, when it comes down to production and Saquon behind that line.
Sure. With you being a contender with that roster, I kind of do prefer Saquon. I mean, a counter, I don't think it's that far off. Maybe, let's see their running back room. Like, I mean, do you ask for Deebo Samuel?
No.
Oh, well, you have Deebo Samuel. Sorry.
He has.
No, yeah, they have Deebo Samuel. Do you ask for Deebo Samuel? Okay, hold on. Doesn't he have Cooper Kupp?
Yes, he has Cooper Kupp, so he doesn't have Deebo Samuel.
Then why is this trade set up as in he receives it? I'm confused.
He receives Devon Achane. Oh, right, I get what you're saying.
So he has Kupp, Achane. Yeah, this is strange because he already has Achane.
Unless he submitted it backwards.
Well, what might have happened is he might have already accepted the trade, actually.
Yeah.
But I might have asked for like a Deebo Samuel type of player on top while I'm competing, a second round pick or something. It's close. Or a late first, early second swap, something like that. I do prefer Saquon if I'm competing, but I don't think it's an insane trade to make. Calster is next here. He says, trying to get a running back. What quarterback wide receiver do I send for Gibbs? So he would be sending away the 106 Mahomes and Chase Brown for Gibbs and Prescott. Now, I am.
Actually, it says this was supposed to be a 25-second. I'm assuming the 106
He
was
says
supposed to
that?
be the 206 in the message system.
Okay.
Because I have the 101 that was trying to solidify positions and downgrade quarterback. Going to get a team review soon once
Okay.
the commissioner puts the draft order.
Okay, so yeah, interesting trade. So that is actually not the 206. It's a second rounder is what he's saying. It's a 206.
Yeah, he's saying it's a 206. So
So
I'm
let's just
assuming
say it's
he
a
has.
mid-second. So
Yeah.
you are tearing down from Mahomes to Dak, but you get Jahmyr Gibbs for Chase Brown in a second. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. 100%.
And I don't think this is underselling Patrick Mahomes, by the way. I mean, Pat Mahomes and Dak Prescott aren't that far off in age anyway. Of course, Mahomes is going to have the longer career, but that feels like a very cheap Jahmyr Gibbs. And
I mean, yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is. I mean, we're telling people to trade Jahmyr Gibbs for the 101.
well, if you can trade
Or
the 101 for Gibbs,
if you could trade the 101, exactly. You know.
James, I don't think people are low on Chase Brown. I think people are concerned because this class is so stacked across the board that he could very easily face more competition. The Bengals, I know they have a lot of concerns with their team, but if they draft someone in round 3, are you concerned at all about Chase Brown's value moving forward, right? We have seen time and time again these 5th, 6th, 7th round picks who have hit and then they've been replaced or they've been at a competition and they lose value in the Dynasty community. So you can go back and see many times in history that has happened. I think people love Chase Brown. If the Bengals don't draft the running back, Chase Brown's probably going to be a top 10 running back in everyone's rankings for redraft this year. But the concern is just built around what they've invested in him. All right. Those are the two trades that we had in our queue. Again, if you guys ever want to submit a trade, feel free to do so. We are going to move over to the portion of the stream where we do some Dynasty team reviews and give out some playbooks along with those reviews. We just had Dynasty submit a team review and they got their playbook. I believe this is a live one as well, which we can probably do these 3 today, which means that our queue will be pretty free moving forward. Or I think Dideki bought an offline one. Let us know, Dideki, if you're in the chat with us. But app is definitely live. Let's do AP8s here first. Again, if you guys want your team reviewed, check out the pinned comment. Best way is to become an annual Motherflocker member with the promo code LAND.
Yeah. Appreciate you, AP. Let us know if you're here with us, and if not, we appreciate the support. Let's have a look at your team. He says, 3rd year in this league, took over a terrible team with no talent. It was so bad. Made some recent trades. Brian Thomas for Olave, Purdy, the 101 for Laporta, Waddle. Okay, so made some recent trades. Brian Thomas for Olave and Purdy. And then the second trade was the 101 for Laporta and Waddle. Another trade, which is the 105 McMillan for Flowers and Cook. I'm planning on taking BPA with the first. Anything else I should look to do?
I hope you're on the opposite side of all those trades. The way I'm reading it is that you sent Laporta and Waddle. You sent the 101 for Laporta and Waddle. I hope that's the opposite.
Where you got the 101.
I'm reading that you sent the 105 and McMillan for Flowers and Cook. I'm kind of hoping that was the opposite.
Same thing with Brian Thomas. I think I want Brian Thomas over Olave and
yeah.
Purdy. But just depending on your team.
We'll find out.
Let's have a look.
What's his team?
Currently ranked 9th, Alex P82. Currently ranked 9th out of 12. This is a 2 quarterback 12 team start 10, which means this is a middle ground. You can start up to 3 flexes, up to 5 wide receivers or 5 running backs. And let's have a look at this team. Yes, and it is the opposite, unfortunately. Justin Herbert, Michael Penix, Brock Purdy. Decent quarterback room, no doubt about it. You have the depth that we want with 3 quarterbacks. At the running back position, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, and the list goes on. There's nothing else much there. At the wide receiver position, remember you can start to 5 wide receivers. You're starting 5. Ayuk, Waddle, Zay, Pittman with Sam Laporta, and with the 109. So you telling me you had the 105? No, you telling me you had Brian Thomas on this team. You had
The 101.
Sam Laporta, the 101. Yeah, Brian Thomas, the 101, and the 105, and McMillan. So
I really wish, just personally, I'm on the opposite side of all those trades that you made. That could be personal preference. I don't know, but I think this team probably looks far better without these trades, right? You'd have a Brian Thomas.
Yeah, Brian Thomas.
You'd
Yeah,
have
Brian Thomas.
a 101, which
The
you
105
can
and
do so
McMillan.
much with the 101. Laporte and Waddle, I'm sorry. That is way underselling the 101. The 105 and McMillan, I just think those 4 assets are definitely... I just wish we could redo all those trades. Obviously, it's not going to help for us to linger on that for too long, but I definitely feel like we did the opposite of helping our team 3 times in a row. We way undersold the 101 as an asset. I know this is a tight end premium. That is maybe Laporta prices last year when he was a tight end 1 finish. Maybe. This year, that is way underselling the 101, even in a tight end premium.
And you have the
Zay
109.
Flowers has been my number 1 sell at wide receiver this offseason. And as much as I love the Olave Purdy ad, I just think Brian Thomas is this pillar that you really needed. You needed an untouchable. There is no untouchable on this team now. The untouchable, there is not one at all.
You don't. I mean, according to this, you had the 101, the 105, and the 109. If you were worried about depth or wide receiver, you could have got all that here.
Yeah, you didn't need to compromise the top-end talent of this team.
Sure, you probably needed another quarterback. Sure, you probably needed an RB2 or a running back in general. Like, you could have gotten Nash and Genty. You couldn't have gotten the 105. You could have gotten 2 starting running backs in this draft class and had Brian Thomas, and still we would have been like, okay,
Look, the thing is, all the players that you bought, I think, are good buy lows outside of Flowers. Like Olave and Purdy, I think, are 2 great buy lows. Laporte and Waddle, I like as buy lows. I might not be obsessed with Flowers and Cook, but you just bought them for far too much. So look, when you guys come to a stream, all right, and you submit a team with us, what we can promise at every moment is true, authentic transparency. We're not going to hype your team up just to make you feel better. We're going to try and give you realistic, honest feedback, even if it's not maybe what you want to hear, or if you don't agree with us, that's totally okay, by the way. It's just our opinion, right? And that's why you're coming here. I will never look at a team review and just be dishonest and say, yeah, the team's good, I like these trades, right? Because it's just not helpful for you. But I really think every move you made, I would have preferred the other part of the deal. We have literally no flexibility now. The 101 would have given us so much flexibility. The amount of doors we could have opened with the 101 would have been endless. I don't know why you bought Brock Purdy. You already have Herbert and Penix.
Yeah, that's
what
I'm
like
saying,
having
right?
a quarterback 3, but it certainly wasn't a priority over a wide receiver that is a pillar like Brian Thomas. And I get wanting a tight end, but you already had draft capital in this class at the 109 to try and get a Warren or a Loveland if they fell.
Yeah, I think in summary, like everything that you traded for, you could have gotten in this draft. Now, I get it. You probably wanted these guys because they're proven talent. And I think the only thing that you couldn't have gotten in this draft is probably QB3. But you could have gotten 2 starting running backs. You could have kept McMillan, who, once again, is projecting to be the wide receiver 2 if Chris Godwin's no longer there. And you had 3 first-round picks.
If this team had 3 first-round picks, it felt like they were in the process of rebuilding, and
now,
they were like, they hit the button way too soon. They hit the cash-in button far too early, I think.
But the thing is, like, with this team, I feel bad because I want to say full rebuild, but you can't sell anyone on this team.
Well, at least we have our first in 2026. But
Like,
so, Badaki, you're right in the sense of like none of these guys are sell highs. Laporta is undervalued. Ayuk is definitely not a sell now. Olave, Waddle, Pittman. I mean, you go across the board. Swift.
he has no one. He has no one that he can sell
None of these guys are sell highs at all whatsoever. Now he has a starting lineup now of Herbert, Penix, or Purdy, Cook. You better pray to God you get a running back at the 109 there. Then Ayuk, Olave are your starting 1-2. That's way better off as a 3-4, but that's the world we're living in right now. Sam Laporta, and the worst news is we still have to start 3 players, which is going to be Waddle, Flowers, and you have to hope Pittman, Coker, Wandale, and you also have to hope on top of this that there will be no injuries to this team. If James Cook goes down, if Olave or Ayuk have another injury, where is the depth on this team? And that's probably why you made some of these trades. You're like, well, I had the 101. I traded for Laporta and Waddle. The issue is you should have been able to net 4, at minimum 3 first-round picks for the 101.
Who has the 101 now? I just want to see this guy's team.
Did he take advantage of him?
I hope not. That's what I'm trying to find. I thought it would be the guy.
Well, he did. That trade is quite frankly the worst trade I've seen for the 101 this offseason.
So team 6 is one.
Look at this guy. He has Bowers, Lamb, Bijan in the 101. So look, enough with the, us trashing the team. It is honest feedback, and I'm sorry if you don't like it. I think you put yourself in a really tough spot, my friend.
I think, yeah, I completely agree. And I think the best way is let him make the decision. I think this is an in or out. I think you wait until the season, see how these players progress. And if nothing happens, you just full rebuild. If Waddle comes out, guns blazing, if Chris Olave clicks with, Derek Carr in the new offense, if Brandon Ayuk comes back on the field sooner rather than later, if Mike AR-15 steps up, right? The only downfall on this team is your RB2, technically, if we're looking technically. And you technically do have Sam Laporta, who you can't sell. I think at week 5, if this team is 1-4, halfway through the season, 2-6, whatever the case may be, I'm fully rebuilding. I'm giving up everything. Like I want to wait and see, but I think right now we can fully rebuild, but you can get more value in season for some of these guys.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I just feel bad. Like I want it to be more positive, but this is like this is in a tough spot. I think you're right. It's in or out, because you're kind of like, again, if we pull up our pathways here, you're kind of between sleeper or 1-year punt, which typically makes you an in or out team, right? Which means, like Badaki said, if the season goes well and there are no injuries, then you can ride this out and see what the year brings you. But in my opinion, the more likely outcome is by mid-season, you're probably wanting to think about resetting here. And that doesn't mean you have to sell everyone. Like your quarterbacks are all young. Your wide receivers are young. But, maybe you find ways to pivot towards a future class where you can really raise your upside of the team. I mean, like, you have to hope the 109's a running back, or how the hell do you compete with this team, man? Overall team grade, C-.
I mean, he has players, yeah, so it's not terrible.
Quarterback room is great. Wide receiver room is very weak for someone who just went all in with these trades. And the running back room is awful. So yeah, I'd say C-. Draft capital grade, he has a first. He has his first in 26. What, B flat, B-?
Yeah.
The untouchables on this team are actually your future first round picks.
Yeah, 20.
There is no way you should be selling your future first. I'm still devastated for this team that we don't have the 101 and we sold it that low. But please do not sell your future firsts. You do not want to put this team in a position where you have to compete even though you don't have the team to compete with. It is in or out for now. And at the 109, you're not getting Judkins there anymore. That's the problem with this hypothetical. Maybe Caleb Johnson falls. That might be the name that falls there. I think this is kind of that range where Caleb, Cam, Sanders, Egbuka, Loveland, Warren. Now, we'll talk about what you could trade the pick for, right? If we want to go that route. But, if the best available player is a quarterback and you have 4, you're going to have to draft a quarterback and trade after the fact.
Yeah.
If the best available player is a tight end in a tight end premium, you're going to have to draft the tight end, and then after the fact, go ahead and trade for need after the draft. But sorry, I'm trying to get back here.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, I think it's best to, obviously we can give him the option to trade, because if I'm not mistaken, that 109 is like that Josh Jacobs range.
Yeah.
Which might be a little bit difficult.
You're kind of like with this team, you don't really want to go all in on a vet running back. You kind of want to hit on a younger piece.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe it's best to just keep that 109, or like you said, draft a quarterback, sell him high later, and just go from there.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you can get it's unrealistic to expect this to happen now, but Bucky Irving, some people really undervalue him. I mean, shoot, does DeAndre Swift get you in the conversation? Does it help you start a conversation? Could you do the 109 in Pittman? Instead, where you're getting a young running back that we believe in, and I don't think you're going to get him at this price, but I'm just trying to give you all your options. I mean, could you get Chuba Hubbard plus? Right? He's super cheap right now. A lot of people are getting him for second round picks. So who has Hubbard in this league? And at least you got 2 starters heading into the year. Right? This guy, yeah, I think he needs some wide receivers. He could give you like Hubbard. Do you do Hubbard?
There's nothing else you can do here.
Yeah.
You can't
I'm
do
trying to think
Hubbard in a pick.
210 maybe, but I don't feel like that's enough.
No, I don't think that's enough either. I would rather just hold.
Man, I wish we had that 101. We would have. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unlucky.
All right. Players that you can sell. Trade away targets. I don't care. I probably want to do this in season, but if you get the value we want, then you can sell them now. Swift. For me, Zay Flowers is in that bucket for sure. I've been telling you to sell him for the 105 to the 107 all offseason.
Yeah.
There's not really another name that you can sell or it's worth selling at this time. For DeAndre Swift, it's very simple. If you can get any second in any year, I think you take it. I don't see him as a long-term option for Ben Johnson, considering Ben Johnson literally sent him away from his team to draft Jahmyr Gibbs. Zay Flowers.
Ben Johnson. I actually didn't make that connection until you just said that. I don't know why.
Right? Isn't that
that's
funny?
Actually, that must be awkward. What's up, coach? Yeah, well.
I know, right?
Are you gonna? And then he's gonna draft a new running back.
Exactly.
And then
isn't that funny?
That's actually hilarious. I don't know why I didn't pick one up.
And then with Zay Flowers, we've been trying to tear down to names like Brandon Ayuk all offseason. I don't think that's possible anymore after the Debo trade. But there's probably still names out there that you could do it with. So Zay Flowers currently ranked around... Where is Zay? He is wide receiver 22. And they have him in tier 10 on KTC, which is a terrible website, but we want to exploit it, use it as a weapon, as we say. So he's in tier 10. So names like Ricky Pearsall would be a great tier down.
Ricky.
names like Waddle, Olave. He already has those two actually. Jameson Williams maybe.
Yeah, that's not
He has
ideal.
a lot of the tier down guys we like. He has players we like. Anyway, let's try those two. I think you're a little bit limited. I prefer to have like the 105 to the 107 range, which we've seen happen a lot. But if that's not possible, let's look at some other options here. All right, let's look at Jameson Williams and Ricky Pearsall, these teams. So who has Jameson Williams? All right, Jameson Williams on team 3. So for example, Jameson, you're in a tough range here, man. I mean, I would go like Jameson Kamara. Because I don't personally see any difference in these assets, Jameson and Zay Flowers. But I just think that gives you the same asset with more flexibility at running back. If you don't want to go that way, the 111 is just not a good match with what we have to offer.
No.
I mean, could you do Jameson plus the 111 and then give Zay Flowers and Michael Pittman? You know, DeAndre Swift. Those are two deals that could make a lot of sense. DeAndre Swift probably doesn't get it done, but Pittman might. Again, there's some crazy deals that have gone down in your league. There's no harm in checking. Where does Ricky Pearsall end up in this league?
Let's see. Ricky.
To the guy who fleeced him on Brian, unfortunately. Yeah, he's a bit of a sharper player, so I'm not sure what's possible. What about like Ricky Tyrone? I think we'd both be happy with that. I think Tracy's
I'm okay with that.
job is in jeopardy, but it's worth the risk. I think there's a chance Pearsall's more valuable than Flowers after this year.
Cause you gotta call on Tyrone.
What about like the 204 or something? I do Pearsall in the 204.
Yeah, that feels better.
Okay, I like those deals. But look, you kind of need to play this as the year goes. You know, if we're wrong and everyone stays healthy, you know, when you're competing.
Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I hope everyone stays like for your team's sake. It's just like this would be amazing.
But let's say you take Caleb Johnson. All right, he falls because of everyone talking about his 40-yard dash, which is silly. But you get Caleb Johnson, and then you end up trading, you know, DeAndre Swift for a second, and then you end up moving Zay Flowers for Jameson and Kamara, or Ricky and Tracy, right? I like both of those deals a lot, and in that world, you'd have Jameson, Kamara, Caleb Johnson, but you lose Zay Flowers. Jameson, Kamara, and you lose Zay Flowers. I'm totally fine with that. Love those two trades. Obviously, I'd like to try the Bucky trade. I just don't know how possible it is. And then, of course, if you can move Zay for any of those picks, we like that idea too.
Holds. Michael Penix.
The whole team
Chris
filled
Olave.
with holds.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put one for each position. Michael Penix, Chris Olave, Sam Laporta. Obviously, you just traded for him. Might as well hold him right now. And I'll put another wide receiver.
Yeah, Waddle. I'm really sorry, man. I'm sorry this wasn't more positive. I hope it was helpful, though. That's my biggest hope, is that it was helpful. Drops. We didn't talk about, did we?
I just put Khalil Herbert and either Hendon Hooker or Antonio Gibson, whichever way he wants to go.
I mean, look, you can add Corley if you want, but I don't think there's anything interesting on your waiver wire. Alex, my friend, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if this was negative and you don't feel like you got value In fact, I feel so bad. I want to give you a free trade question voucher. Come back. All right. I feel awful. I want you to feel good about this review, but it's just that was our honest opinion.
Yeah, that was obviously not ideal for your team there, Alex. But hey, obviously you said you took this team over. You felt like it wasn't good. You made a couple moves that you felt confident in, and it's okay. You sometimes make mistakes. I made a mistake once. I did a bad trade once live, and people judged me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're here now. Look at us now.
Bayou Blaze is offline, by the way. Do DK in the chat with us or not? Are they in the chat with us or not? I think they purchased an offline review. I just want to ask them if they're in the chat or not. I want to know if they purchased it while we were live or not. Let's go to JJ here. And if DK's here, might do his. If not, we'll message him. Okay, yeah. DK is here. You purchased an offline one, by the way, my friend, but if you want it done tonight, all you need to do is purchase a $10 super message on the chat to upgrade it. If you're happy to wait till tomorrow, as long as the queue isn't too full, it's just about demand, right? I need to go prep a bunch of content. So if tomorrow we don't have a big queue, it's just you, we'll definitely do it live. I have no problem with that. But you go through the same process as you went through earlier, right? So that top right, you'll hit personal advice, and then it's the super message button right here. All right, that super message button right there. It's just $10 for the live version tier. Again, that's just so we can prioritize you if there's like a queue. Moving the A chains. Go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, AP, just so you know, whenever you are watching this, you will be receiving your playbook within 48 hours. Customize all the information we drew up here for you today. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get into this next review, you'll notice the pinned comment in the chat actually shows you how to get your team playbook, which we call a customized game plan for your offseason. Talking about like trade targets for your team, what to do with your draft capital. You can get your team playbook by becoming a Land Annual Mother Flocker member, or you can go to the Flock store, purchase a team review, regardless of what promo code you're using. Just get that live version if you want it done live. Again, that link is in the pinned comment and in the description. All right, let's go to JJM312 here.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support here, JJ. We'll have a look at your team. This is a 2-quarterback, 10-team start 9. So this is your classic meat and potatoes where you can start 2 flex options. According to the rankings here, you're currently ranked 8th out of 10 team. And let's read this context here. He says, my 25 firsts are the 101, the 102, and the 105. Draft orders Genty of Fish. I'm assuming that's a team. Okay, yeah. Genty of Fish. Okay, you're saying your draft order, that's okay. Scoring settings.
0.1 for a passing yard, it's typically 0.25. 0.2 for a rushing yard, it's typically 0.1, so that's double. 0.1 for a receiving yard, which is normal. That's normal.
Yeah, that is normal.
0.25 for a tight end premium and big play bonuses. So this is interesting because running backs are a lot more valuable in this league. If a running back puts up 100 yards in a standard league, that is worth 10 points. In this league, it's worth 20, so it's double.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Running backs are worth a little more, so are quarterbacks who throw a lot of passing yards. The passing yards are actually more than double. Okay, so interesting to know. His name is Moving the A Chains, and he is ranked 8th. And on my rankings, you are one of the worst teams by far. In fact, it looks like you guys have a Thanos of your own, a guy who's just dominating this league. Doesn't mean we can't help you, though. At 8, Moving the A Chains. And like he said, he has the 101, 102, 105. Go ahead and read out his team again. Superflex, start 9.
Yeah, at the quarterback position, Brock Purdy, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. So, look, not the strongest quarterback room. Not guys we're overly confident in, but guys that can turn it around, specifically Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young, who finished great at the second half of the season last year. Achane, Tyrone, Javonte, Spears, and the list goes on there. So Achane we do like. Tyrone, if they don't draft another running back, could be your 1-2 punch. But you do have the 101 here. And Ashton Jeanty could be the guy for you potentially.
Yeah.
At the wide receiver room, remember you can start with 4 wide receivers: Harrison, Reed, Tank, Mooney, Coker. So not really a strong wide receiver room either.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison is really your only pillar there, with no tight ends essentially outside of Jonnu Smith. Some high upside guys, but nothing that we can really hang our hat on there. But you do have 3 first-round picks, and you do have your 26th first-round pick as well, which is really crucial. Oh boy, another tough team here, but we do have some capital and flexibility to move
I feel like
around.
this team has a lot more flexibility. I actually think this team and last team probably look really similar, but the difference is the other team just lost all flexibility. So I think you're in a pretty good position in that sense, and you have a lot of impactful picks, so 102, 105, and 101. This feels like a one-year punt. I think it's kind of the definition of a one-year punt, right? Every move you make now should be focused towards next year, and next year you can reassess and decide if you want to go out there and compete. Yeah, and it's a lot easier to review a team like this where all of the the assets are in a position that it's going to help you really achieve the goal that you want to have. Starting lineup right now is probably Purdy, Young, Achane, Tracy, Marvin, Reed, Smith. That's already 7, so you need to start 2 more between Mooney and one of Javonte, Spears, Demario Douglas, something. So not the strongest, but definitely like a really good baseline.
Yeah,
the
no
untouchables
question.
for this team would be the 101 and your future pick. So the 101 and your future pick would be your untouchables. There's no reason to move those in a one-year punt. Your holds, I would definitely say Marvin for a one-year punt is the definition of a hold. Coker is another really strong hold. Isaiah Likely. And I mean, Richardson's a strong hold when you have nothing to lose, I think. Okay, drops. You can drop Elijah Moore if you want. You can drop AOC if you want. You can drop Corley if you want. You don't have to drop these guys, Yeshivas. Those are your options.
I'd rather keep AOC. Let's drop Malachi.
That's fine. If overall team grade right now, the last one, what do we say? C minus?
Yeah, so we can do like a...
This feels more like a B minus to C plus because we have a ton of flexibility.
Yes.
I mean, you add, so just use those picks and like add Ashton Jeanty to this team, add a Marion Hampton or Tet McMillan, and then add Luther Burden or something. It's more of a B minus than it is a C plus, but when we consider draft capital, let's say B minus. Let's say C plus. Actually, let's be realistic. It's a C plus.
And then draft capital would just be
draft capital grades great. I mean, you have the 101, that's fantastic. You have the 102. I mean, you A minus on your draft capital for sure. That you have a ton of flexibility with that. You know, it's just so much flexibility there. All right.
Okay.
I'm excited about this because I feel like we can really make a difference with this one. If you're going to stick and pick, very simple, right? Ashton Jeanty is going to be your 101.
Amarion.
And then for me at the 102 at least, it is Amarion. I know a lot of people are debating Hampton and McMillan and stuff. So I totally understand if you feel that way. And then, you know, let's say you ended up with Jeanty, you went Hampton, and at the 105 you came back and you got Burden or something, just as an example, right? I think that's an incredible outcome for you as a one-year punt, right?
Yeah, I mean...
And you almost put yourself in sleeper territory. You'd have a lineup of Purdy, Young. You need one of those running backs to hit, or quarterbacks to hit outside of Purdy. But then you're starting Jeanty, Hampton, then Marvin, Burden, Jonnu, and then you're starting to flex the names like Tracy and Reed, right?
Oh, yeah, Tracy and Reed. There you go. Perfect.
And I kind of feel like with this team, we can go ahead and sell Devon Achane. I don't know where you stand. The reason I say that is, yes, he's young, and I love me some Devon Achane. Y'all know that. But where our picks are, there's a very good possibility we are already going to draft 3 running backs. The strength of this class, there's a really good shot that you end up with Genty, Hampton, and Henderson, or Genty, Hampton, and Judkins. Look, maybe it's Genty, McMillan, and then another running back. But you're probably going to have 2 running backs at minimum that you feel are features. So I feel like in a 1-year punt, Tracy and Achane, we can sell both of these names because of the strength of this class, and ideally look towards future picks to have some flexibility. And also, if we are going to do the true 1-year punt, Achane's probably not going to help our own draft pick be valuable next year. He's probably going to put up points, but with his profile, he totally can get a huge contract from a team, but you have to ask, is it possible? Now, a team like this, with already being in such a good position, I don't really know that I want to tear down.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because if we're talking about trading Achane and Tracy, Ash, that means you can't trade the 101, 102, and that 105, you're already in that sweet spot where you don't want to trade back. So if we're going to go this route,
yeah, I think if this team had, let's say we took away the 101 and the 105 from this team, and it was how it is currently constructed, then I think it's probably a good team to tear
trade
down
back.
But it is
100%.
all contextual based off each team. So I actually don't really want to explore that option very much. I want to stick and pick, because you've already got, a good amount of young pieces to build around with this team already. Now,
I agree.
Moving Devon Achane, we've seen a lot of people moving for the 102.
Yes.
But you already have the 102. So
try the 103 plus.
What if we can move him for an equivalent wide receiver that we want to build around and go that route?
Sure. Oh, we don't know who has the 103. Oh yeah, he puts it here.
So Achane on KTC is equivalent to Garrett Wilson, Lad McConkey, JSN. We wouldn't want to build around AJ Brown right now. So like can you take a mental note here? London, JSN, Lad, Garrett Wilson.
London, JSN, Lad, Wilson.
London, JSN, Lad, Garrett Wilson. Okay? Those are the type of guys we're trying to pivot to, and we'll look at those options. Now, as far as Tyrone Tracy goes, I think I'd rather just go draft pick, but I am curious what his equivalent is at other positions. Like, could we address tight end with a Tyrone Tracy? Let me see. And keeping in mind, by the way, running backs are way more valuable in this format. So we might need to up what we're asking for when running backs get basically double the amount of points of a normal format. Sure. Remember, in this league, running backs get 0.2 points per yard. That means our asking price is going to be higher than a typical league. Tracy is in this position where I don't like the players around him, but if Loveland, which is kind of ranked around like the 107 to 110 range, is equivalent value, I'd like to see if we can sell him for a first. So I'll say any first in any year, right? That one's pretty simple, but let's start to explore these pivots. And again, keeping in mind, 0.2 points per yard for running backs equals we need a bigger package than normal, okay? Just want to make that super clear. So let's start with London, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, Matthew, this is a live review, my friend. He says the wife is dying to get on a live review. I love that. Your review was really fun when your wife was there. Okay, so let's look at the London team.
All right, let's have a look. Let's pull this team.
Really, wide receivers, they don't really have any premium in this league.
This is
quarterbacks.
This is where I'm thinking, like, should we even sell our running backs and keep Achane because of how premium the running? Like, imagine keeping Devon and starting him in the flex, and we have a Marion and Genty.
But we still need a good roster at wide receiver. Like right now, we have, no one to rely on.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to selling. I'm just thinking if the premium is pretty significant, then maybe it's best to hold and just see who's gonna land at us at the 105.
What about something like this, where we get like a future first, and then we will send Achane plus Tracy's a good example.
Sure.
One of these type of deals. If not Tracy, there's definitely other names on this team that we can be flexible with, like Jaden Reed, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jaden Reed, I guess Mooney is interesting.
Yeah, sure. Darnell Mooney.
He had a good season there. We could throw a quarterback. No, not really.
You're kind of just wanting to take an asset like London that is going to be reliable for the next 4 years and move off a guy like Achane if you can for good value. And again, we need to get really good value here, which is why we're getting London and a first and sending some of these guys who are not really worth firsts.
Yeah. By the way, I was just looking at the waiver wires just to take a mental note. I know you like Kayshon Boutte. He's available on waiver wires. Malik Washington's available on waiver wires. Parker Washington. Well, not Parker Washington. Those are the two that are available on waiver wires that he should go out and pick up. Just take a mental note of that. Jatavion Sanders is also a young tight end.
Yeah.
If they don't draft one, go pick him up.
Well, those are all good shouts.
And that's it.
No, those are all great shouts. And by the way, I would do any of these trades for any of the names that we have talked about. Right? So, all these trades, this can be JSN. All these trades, this can be Lad McConkey. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. What,
just so you have all of the options on the table presented to you. But you don't have to sell Devon Achane, by the way.
No, you
don't take this as oh wow, I need to sell Achane. No, you don't need to. It's just if an offer like this comes up, you can definitely consider that in a 1-year punt.
Let me just see. I think I really like the idea of sticking and getting a premium with my 105, maybe. So
I agree.
You keep Achane, you keep Achane, Tracy, you draft Ashton, Omarion, and at the 105, can I go out and get a T? I think you were talking about the Garrett Wilsons, right? So if I can get one of those guys,
right.
We can keep it. We can still keep the running backs because in reality, you'll have Omarion starting in the flex with then hypothetically T. Higgins.
Sure.
If you still him at the 105, right? So
yeah,
I get it. The wide receiver room is still a little bit weak.
With this class, you could get Tet McMillan at the 105 probably.
Yeah.
In this league. I mean, what if Henderson goes round 2 and he's at the 105 in this type of league?
Exactly.
It's tough. So I don't know if I want to sell the 105 in this league.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, but this is some good for you though.
I want to say Javonte Williams is definitely a name that we can sell. I know Javonte is probably easier to sell in this league than any other league. Jonathan Brooks, right? And I think with these guys, it's like a mid-second in any year. And again, keep in mind, that's because there's such a premium on running backs in this specific league. That's why the price is a little bit different than normal.
A little bit different, yeah. 100%.
Outside of that, I think Jonnu Smith, maybe you try and sell in season.
Yep. What's the top? Is there any premium on tight end? No, it's no more, isn't it?
It's 0.25, so it really doesn't make an impact.
It doesn't make an impact at all. Okay.
That's
bonuses for
that's
big
about where I
playing
stand with
game.
this team. It was a lot easier. See, there's just so much more flexibility with a team like this. But
Yeah, I definitely understand.
I love the idea of that Drake London move. In fact, I would do that with JSN or Drake London. But we'll just throw both those options there. I think Tyrone Tracy getting a first for him is ideal.
Yeah, I think that's ideal.
And then let's highlight Javonte Williams too.
Yeah, to give him some flexibility.
Matthew says if she can get one, can she get on this live stream? If she gets the live version, for sure. Yeah, the live version is just $10 more when you're going through. But the only reason we ask for that is because if the demand is there, it just kind of guarantees
We'll
you
we'll
into the stream.
Live ones.
But yeah, big fan of this team, man. Just the flexibility that you have. Definitely don't undersell A-Chan unless a good offer is there like that where you really maximize your value. But I feel good about this.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, JJM. Let us know. Well, obviously you're not here with us, but we appreciate you and your support. You will be receiving your customized playbook in the Flock Fantasy message system within 72 hours with everything that we drew up here for you today. But thank you so much. Good luck. Decent team. Interesting format, and running backs could be the move here for your move.
Yeah, running backs and quarterbacks are really OP in that type of league. All right, yeah. Dudicki, we've got your team here, and tell me if I'm saying that wrong, by the way.
I think it's Dude Key, like Dookie.
Dude Key.
That's how I'm rating it, but maybe me and reading,
Not the best combination we've ever seen before in our lives.
Not the best, but I try. My mom said, she said, good effort, Daniel. And I was like, who the hell is Daniel, Mom?
Yeah, if you guys are new here, we have talked before about how we think maybe Badaki is dyslexic. He's never been actually diagnosed, but it's possible.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you judge me, shame on you.
Let's quickly get to the super message from Patty Ice, who's asking a question on the site. This will just take way quicker than the team review. She says, looking to move Mooney, Dowdle, Coker, Allen for picks.
Looking to move Darnell Mooney, Rigo, Dowdle, Coker.
Patty, you're in the chat. Is this a question related to? Are you just asking what you could get for them? Like what you could get for them for picks? Let us know. Actually, we'll maybe do Dudecki's first before we.
Normally Patty Ice is here.
Okay, so he's asking just like what you can get for them for picks. Mooney, I would say a late second.
Yeah, I agree.
Dowdle, I would take any second in any year or multiple thirds. Coker, you can get a mid-second from the right owner. There's a Coker hive out there.
Sure.
A lot of people think he's going to be the wide receiver one in Carolina this year. So I'd say mid-second you can net from him. And then Allen, is that Josh Allen or Braylon Allen?
I would imagine Braylon Allen.
Braylon, he was a third-round pick last year. I don't think he did anything to make him more valuable. He was fine. He was serviceable.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably still valued around a third-round pick. If you can get an early third for him, I'd be really happy with that. Or that could be Keenan. And if that's Keenan, you're definitely not going to get a second-round pick. You can ask for it from a contender, but you're probably going to have to settle for a third. Let us know if we answered that well, Patty. And if it's Josh Allen, well, you need 4 first-round picks in a super flex league for Josh Allen.
You want the world, really.
Yeah, Braylon, I'd say early third you should be happy with in this class. Like if you can send the 301 to the Breece Hall or for the Breece Hall owner or something and get their 301, I think that's ideal. But I don't think you can get a second for Braylon. I would be shocked if you could. I would say the same thing about Dowdle, by the way. Early third is more than doable. But Coker and Mooney, you should be able to get seconds for.
Yeah, I completely
late seconds.
Agree. Appreciate you, Patty.
Yeah. All right, so dude did update to the live version, so appreciate you, man. I'll go ahead and hit finish because all we needed to have you do is update to the live version. But let's go ahead and read his team. It's a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 8, which is a small lineup for that's meat and potatoes lineup.
Yeah, it's meat and potatoes. Basically what we just saw in the Superflex, but in the 1 quarterback version.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you and your support, Dude Key. That's what I'm calling you. I'm definitely looking to compete this year. Not afraid to move future picks. One team that has CMC and Henry already said he's willing to move them as he prepares to
Okay.
rebuild. And you're currently
Interesting.
ranked second out of 10.
Show
Let's
me
have a
your
look at your team.
TDs is the name.
Just a
I think.
classic.
Yeah, which it is. It's a
Hey,
classic. You know,
yeah, it's a classic.
I feel like Show Me Your TDs has aged gracefully, whereas my ball Zach Ertz, that one has not aged gracefully. If that's your team name, come on, you're more creative than that. But I'd say Show Me Your TDs aged really, really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matthew says it's a team review, right? First link, it doesn't say live on it. Yeah, so what you're going to want to do, my friend, is when you go to the Flock Fantasy website, you'll see at the top right here, it'll say personal advice. You'll click on that. And then team review here. If you haven't linked your team, I would suggest to do that in the My Teams feature. But if you haven't yet, you can do it here with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo. Click the league here. Click continue. Then you'll see your team. Make sure your picks are correct. Then you'll see Zach and Badaki here. You'll see team playbook, but you just need $10 more to make it live. All right. And of course, members get a discount off that price. But let us know if that answers the question, Matthew. Also, I will give you a link to the store if that helps. That link will send you directly to the store, Matthew. Okay. So
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's have a look at this team. Show me them TDs. Lamar Jackson, Brother Bo, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith. Phenomenal quarterback room for one quarterback. Maybe we can sell one of those quarterbacks, but it is a 10-team, one quarterback. I'm not going to have the value. A lot of quarterbacks in that sentence.
Lots of picks. Sorry, go ahead.
Running back room. No one's worth mentioning outside of Tajay Spears. That's okay because I see those picks like Zach just went ahead. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 4 wide receivers. Malik Neighbors, Drizzy, Worthy, Godwin, Keon, the list goes on. One short of a wide receiver that we'll feel comfortable with, and one short, or definitely a big short, on the tight end position. But you have 1, 2, 3 first round picks in 2025. You have an early 25 second, which is also phenomenal. I mean, we've been saying that early second round term there is great. Pretty great, with 226 first. Smoking and Jameer's, where's his team ranked? He is currently ranked third.
Let's start here. A team, a league like this, rather, we'd be very hesitant on a tier down for most of these picks because this is one step away from the smallest league you can have, right? Start 7 is really the smallest you can have.
Which for us, by the way, to give context, is heavy hitters, meaning you want the best of the best.
And
continue.
In this league, start 8 meat and potatoes, you only have 2 flex spots, and the heavy hitters are, the Genties, the Bijans, the Gibbs, the Neighbors. These guys are the reason that you win your leagues, right? Depth does not matter as much in a smaller league like this. As much as we love Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Tyrone Tracy, Brian Robinson. These names, they don't really move the needle that much in this league. So keep that in mind. We right now would be starting Lamar Jackson, 2 ghost running backs, Neighbors, London, I guess Sanders, and then we would also start 2 more names, which would be Worthy and Godwin, or Worthy and Coleman, or Coker.
Coker, yeah.
Of course, the draft capital goes into play there. I think you've got a really good base. In fact,
100%. I completely agree.
I think there's a chance you could compete this year. I lean like somewhere between 1-year punt and sleeper. And does that make it in and out depending on how the year goes? Maybe. I kind of think let's still go. I mean, he's got Lamar freaking Jackson. He's got Ashton Genty.
You have Malik. You got Drake. I mean, you're gonna have Ashton Genty on this team. At the 105, let's just say that's Travion Henderson. At the 108, you could technically get either another wide receiver or your tight end there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one quarterback. I think tight end might be pushed up the board a little bit, but
I think we will be a tentative sleeper, and maybe we can even write that down, tentative sleeper, because if the season doesn't go your way and you're not really contending, you can still make moves in season to more focus towards next year and become a 1-year punt. But I think you're in a very good position. Overall team grade, when we include the draft capital, I'd put this at like a B flat, B plus, B flat.
I'll say B plus.
B plus, because it is a premium league and you'll have Genty.
is.
As far as draft capital goes, I'll put that more like an A flat.
Yeah, just A flat. That's where I'm at, is there as well.
Untouchables, Malik Neighbors in the 101.
Agreed.
Your holds on this team. Yeah, this is interesting, isn't it?
It's a little bit like an older hold, but I like Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Jalen Coker. I personally would like to see what Troy Franklin does. You can't really sell him, but I can get what you're maybe gonna say.
Yeah. Tajay's not a bad hold. I mean, I would sell him for the right price, but. And then as far as drops, you got a lot of options here. DeMarcus Robinson, Mason Tipton,
2 holds,
Trey Palmer, Treylon Burks, Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore, Ty Johnson. You could drop any number of these names. Waivers. I'd like to pick up De'Ami Brown in favor of one of those names. That's really it, though. Okay.
I agree.
Let's go to the chalkboard, shall we?
Let's chalk it up, huh? Let's chalk it up. Let's do something special right here.
I would not suggest doing anything other than drafting Ashton Genty at the 101 if we're going stick and pick route, right? I don't think there's another option for you. At the 105, you'll be in a position where there's quite a few options, and we'll discuss all those options. At the 108...
No, not a premium.
Okay, so let's say you go Genty. At the 105, you come back and you get Henderson. You know, at the 108, you come back and you get who's the best player available. You know, is Egbuka the best player available? Is it Caleb Johnson? I don't know. This is just a hypothetical world, and you can get rid of Cam Ward and Sanders because this is not a tight end premium or a super flex league. But also, I will say, like, these guys are also in play. The Lovelands, the Warrens there.
I think so as well. I think you might even be able to squeeze one of those guys in the early second, or Elijah Arroyo, if he gets capital in the at that 201, because then you just hit on every base of your need there. And potentially,
that doesn't mean they're all going to hit, but you could address all these positions, right? So at the 201, you know, let's say you did come back and you grabbed a Loveland or a Warren at that point, right? And
this is a 10-man league, by the way, so that's a 210.
Right. Yeah. So there's a chance you end up with Genty, Henderson, let's just say Egbuka, Loveland. Okay?
Yeah.
So we add Ashton Genty, Travion Henderson, which we desperately need them because we have no one else in this running back room. Then we come back, we add Egbuka to a wide receiver room that needs some depth, and we get a true starting tight end. Love that outcome. Dudecki says, should I be looking to move up higher in the draft with my other picks? I think if you can attach like a Keon Cole or a Chris Godwin in the 201, I think Badaki and I both really like the 201 overall as a pick. But
yeah, I'm really comfortable there.
Especially in your league, that's basically a late first round pick. That's basically the 111. So, but let's say you can package the 201 plus Chris Godwin, for example, and you can go up there and move into the, again, that's a 111. So like the 105 to 106 range, I think makes sense. Anything beyond that, it could be one huge tier of players that are similarly valued.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a good move if you can get in between if you get one of those picks in between the picks you have, the 105 or the 108. If you get the 6 or 7, I think you're winning there because you can guarantee yourself. I mean, I don't want to say guarantee, but it feels like it's a guarantee to hit on every position that you do need. Whether it's you instantly gonna get 2 running backs with the 101 and the 105, hypothetically, you can get a wide receiver that you need for depth, and then a tight end as well. So if that is the case, that's probably the best route to potentially go. So someone owns both of those picks and it is a rebuild too.
So
Yeah,
probably unlikely. The other option is, can you go up to the 102 from the 108? Send like the 108 Keon Coleman,
Keon Coleman is
Tajay
probably a good
Spears or
person to
something.
sell.
Yeah.
Actually, we're not big Keon Coleman believers here. So, like, if somebody in your league believes in Keon Coleman matched up with Josh Allen, that is something that you can use to your advantage for sure.
Yeah, and in this league, it's more
He owns the
of
102. What's this guy's name? 102 team. Let's see.
Keon Coleman is more like in your league,
Yeah,
202 to 203 range.
Fire. Yeah. Cincinnati dumpster fire. So he has a 102, 104, 6, 7.
Yeah. I mean, he's rebuilding the right way. Gotta give him props for that.
But you have quarterbacks. Oh no, he has Joe Burrow. It's one quarterback. Never mind.
That's one quarterback. Yeah.
I was about to say, brother, you got to sell him a QB because Anthony Richardson, but never mind.
Yeah. Again, Keon Coleman, you can either sell for the 202 or the 203 or any first in any year. We just saw someone come on the stream today who, in a previous week, we told them to sell Keon Coleman, and they were able to move him for the 105. Completely unrealistic, but the point is you can sell him in certain leagues. We're definitely not going to want to tear down in this league to any of those picks. Godwin, just in general, I think kind of Godwin and Keon Coleman, I'd be willing to sell them for the same range. I think Coleman or Godwin, I'd probably even be willing to go to like 204, 205, you know? But I wonder if there is like a wide receiver needy team. Let's have a look here. I mean, he might like Keon Coleman. He has a 202. That might be perfect. That 202 range. You know, can you get the 202 in Jordan Whittington? Can you get the 202 in Isaiah Likely? But we're fine to move on from him if you find a better option. Okay. But yeah, you're in a really good position. I think the strength of this team is obviously going to come through the draft outside of neighbors, London, Lamar. But Genty's definitely going to stay on our team. Look, the only way we're not going to keep Ashton Genty is if you already got Malik Neighbors, so that rules that out. But look, if you can get Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson, that's the only way we are moving the 101 in this league. Otherwise, we are completely holding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't be opposed to tearing up from Xavier Worthy in a league like this either. You know, he had a really good second half of the season. I do think Rice is going to play a part. So if you do Worthy in the 201, which is technically the 111 in this league, I'd be super curious what sort of range you could get into.
I would imagine you can get into the guy that has those picks. That Cincinnati dumpster fire. I mean,
oh, that's a good idea. What does he have?
Well, he has 104, 106, 107.
He's not really got a name though.
Oh yeah, we want to do a name.
Let's actually look for teams that have a lot of draft capital. So Pacheco, my Chubb, for example, could you turn that into Marvin, right? Or McBride, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison. Would you pay Worthy in the 111 for Marvin Harrison?
Said that guy won't trade at all. Yes, I would.
Yeah, if you can't trade with him, you can't trade with him. No harm in sending an offer. I don't mind, like, how about Garrett Wilson? A deal like this for Garrett Wilson. I mean, maybe we can get more in return. Garrett Wilson and the 206.
Yep.
Depends on how much they believe in Garrett Wilson. Maybe that's not possible, but Xavier Worthy. What about trying to get to Lab McConkey? Does that get us to Lab McConkey? right? Again, that's a late first. That's a 111 in reality, value-wise. Does that get us to JSN? Kind of that range of player there.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I
don't mind any of these trades.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction I would take this team. I would definitely focus on premium players. I would try and turn my Worthies, Godwins, Colemans into guys that I know I can build around. I wouldn't sell the 101. I'd bank on premium players with these picks. Try and use the one on Genty, maybe the 105 and the 108. We get another running back and a tight end. And then we kind of play out this year and see how it goes. And we still have 2 picks next year in case we want to hit 1-year punt mid-season. But that's the kind of direction I would take with this team. Dudecki, if there's anything that we didn't cover that you want us to cover, let us know.
Yeah.
I would just say my favorite trades, I love the idea of like Worthy to McBride, Worthy to McConkey. We talked about using Coleman or Godwin in trade. So those are my favorite ideas that we came up with.
Yeah, I like that as well. If you can sell Coleman, I think that'd be huge. But we appreciate you, man.
Please let us know if you have any questions, anything that we didn't answer right now. Andrew, what's up? Says, are you doing more reviews tonight? If they right now we're pretty late in our day. It's almost 2 p.m. And we do have another review here from Matthew. What I'll say is what I've said to everyone so far. If you purchase a live one, we'll do it here. That's based off of demand, right? So if you come here and you purchase a live team playbook, then we'll do it for you. Otherwise, no harm in getting one in right now and just waiting for the next stream. But if you want one done right now, it'll probably have to be a live. The live tier when you go to purchase it.
The next time we're live, we'll be live tomorrow. Same time,
totally.
A little bit earlier. We go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single night, essentially. So outside of the weekends, of course. But yes.
Yes, sir. Dudecki, let me know if there's anything, my friend, before we go into Barbie Girl.
Wifey.
Barbie Girl. What would you say CMC is worth in that format, he says? Probably your 201 is too much. So if you sent like the 201 for CMC and the 212 or something, that's probably close. But I don't really know that you're a team that I'd want to go out and purchase a veteran running back with.
That's what I was thinking. There's no real point of trying to get one of those guys, because if we're considering you like a sleeper / 1-year punt, then you can kind of just wait and see what the rookies and how they perform.
Yeah.
And if they don't perform, that's okay, because you still have 2 picks in 2026 that you can go out and utilize on higher draft capital. And you just wasted, hypothetically, a middle to early second round pick for CMC in a year. And he's another year older, right?
I think CMC and Henry are probably guys that you'd want to buy next year once you're established a little bit more. But right now, I don't think they're good buys for your team, because you want to keep that flexibility of, if it doesn't work out, still punt towards 2026. So yeah, that would be my opinion on it. Matthew says she's going to communicate through me, so I'm going to let her drive. Okay, awesome. Matthew, what is your wife's name? I think that's the first question we'd ask. Okay, no worries, Andrew. Sounds good, my friend. Yes, so what is your wife's name? WG says, with the large amount of Dynasty content, everyone knows young talent is super valuable and desired. Vets are discounted these days. That's definitely true. Like I said, if he was ready to compete, I'd be all about it. Y'all know these teams that are ready to compete. I've been talking about them, but yeah, I just don't think his team is quite there yet. But yeah, Matthew, let me know what your wife's name is. I think her name
might be Bree, unless it's just like a Bree girl. That's the name of her.
Oh, it could be.
It could be. We don't know.
That could make sense. I almost asked Evie if she knew his wife, but I think she was just taking a guess from the team review. Okay.
We go way back, not really. Yeah, we appreciate you bringing
Check out the
Matthew.
pinned comment
Thank
if you
so
guys
much.
want a team playbook. If you want your team reviewed, you can check out that pinned comment, right? Flockfantasy.com/land to become an annual Mother Flocker member, or you can purchase one through the Flock site a la carte. All right, let's get to this, shall we? It is Brie. Wow. So yeah,
It is.
some good investigation in the chat there.
Thank you so much for the support. You guys are awesome.
Maybe it was obvious
and-
all along, and we were the problem.
Yeah, man. You call me dyslexic. Anyways, nah, jokes. We
It's
appreciate
got nothing to do with
I know.
that.
I know. We just genuinely appreciate you two. Thank you so much for the support.
Yeah.
And we'll take some time. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, that's your team name. Let's read this context here. This is I lost the championship last year. This is looking for some moves and direction with the pick that I have to put me over the edge this coming year. Also got slick Ricky wide receiver 1, baby, and that is huge. The fact that Deebo Samuel has been traded away is pretty significant for someone like Ricky Pearsall. I haven't even checked where he's at on Keep Trade Cut. I wonder how
Ricky
many
Pearsall?
spots.
I can tell you where I moved him. Give me a second.
He's currently wide receiver 34 on Keep Trade Cut according to today. Yesterday, March the 2nd for our time, he was wide receiver 39. So he's gone up 5 spots.
He's wide receiver what in their rankings?
34 right now. He was wide receiver 39
34.
yesterday, or before the trade, essentially.
All right. I think I have him higher than 34, but we liked Ricky a lot coming out. I have him at 30 in my rankings, wide receiver 30. That's
Okay.
40. I wish we could take away the draft picks when you
I
look at
honestly-
individual positions, man.
Yeah, and if
But I'm
if
at
they
30.
don't draft a wide receiver, I would personally say the first 3 rounds, then he's going to continue to skyrocket. He's going to easily be the wide receiver 1 if Brandon Ayuk is not healthy in the first part of the season.
This is hilarious. Her name is Bree, aka biggest Ricky Pearsall fan ever, has his jersey hanging over the fireplace. I just want to quickly tell Alex that is an absolute steal for Bucky Irving. Take that deal, get the Bucky side in the 210, and run to the bank with it. Absolute steal. That is absolutely hilarious, though, that she's got his jersey hanging up. Okay, so like you said, one quarterback. Start
8.
8. It's a meat,
meat
and
and
potatoes lineup.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. She is ranked.
And for me, she's ranked 4th out of 12, which is pretty decent here.
And is this the same league with that we reviewed with Matthews? Was Matthew in here?
I think it was.
Maybe it's a different league. I can't remember what his team name was.
I thought it was Show Me Your TDs.
Maybe it was. Yeah. No, that. I don't know. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Go ahead and read out the team here.
Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, Malik Willis, 1 quarterback room, phenomenal room. You don't have to worry about that. The running back position, Josh Jacobs, James Carter, Jalen Wright, Blake Corm. Another room you really don't have to worry about, but you do have the 101, which is phenomenal. So you're going to have Ashton Genty here. At the wide receiver position, you can start at the 4 wide receivers, JJ, Ricky, Deebo, Myers, Coker, and the list goes on. So really 2 pillars when you look at this offense. Obviously, Deebo Samuel is going to a new offensive coordinator. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for Deebo.
You know, with Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, I'm excited for him as well.
I think he's got a good Stephon Diggs type of bounce back in him.
I think it just all depends on.
He's in the perfect offense. No one threw more screens last year than Cliff Kingsbury, so
yeah,
it's a different league. That makes more sense. Okay, your untouchables are Ashton Genty. In a league this small, we're not selling Ashton Genty and Justin Jefferson. The holds in this league, Ricky Pearsall ain't going anywhere, but you know that. Jalen Wright with Raheem Mostert moving on is another fantastic hold. Like Ben Sinnott as a hold, that's 3. And, of course, we love us some Jalen Coker. I love Jordan Whittington as well as a hold. Okay, so those are all great holds. As far as drops, I mean, you got a lot of options here. Bobo, Zacchaeus, Sterling, Mechie, Brandon Cooks. Those are all droppable names. In a 1-quarterback league, ain't no way Mac Jones should be rostered. All right. And as far as waiver wire, wow, it's pretty bare on the waiver wire.
There's none.
So look, only drop those names if you. Oh, Jared Wiley's a must pick up. Only drop those names if you feel a need to. You don't have to. Obviously, you have very big benches. Is what it looks like. Okay, starting lineup right now is probably Jackson, Genty, Jacobs, Jefferson, Pearsall, or Jefferson, Debo. Then I guess Kincaid, and we need to start 2 more names, which would be Pearsall, Myers, James Conner probably be in that mix. That's a decent starting lineup there. Who knows what we could do with the 111? I think probably in range for an Igbuka Golden tight end, which is actually kind of perfect because that's what this team really needs.
Yep.
Overall team grade. I like the top end talent. Even in a league like this, I wish we had a little bit more to work with in the wide receiver room. And the tight end's not great, but I'll put this feels like B plus in that range.
I would just say B plus.
Okay. Because you have that top end pick. Draft capital grade would be more like a B plus as well, I'd say.
B plus, yeah, both B plus.
Now, this team, I think you can go compete. Let's just okay, so we use 2 of these picks. One's Genty and one becomes a tight end. Let's just play that out again, okay? We would be starting Lamar, Genty, Jacobs, Jefferson, Debo, Kincaid, and then we'd also be starting Ricky and Myers, Ricky and Connor.
Yeah.
I do think you can compete. I'm not 100% convinced you're going to win, but I think you're kind of in like this sleeper range for me. It's not Windows open, or maybe it is. This kind of feels Windows open-y, but I kind of lean towards like sleeper.
I lean towards sleeper.
Okay.
I think it just makes sense. Like, I think you have some good pieces specifically at the tight end position that you really don't have to focus at tight end. Can we use the 111 to get a vet wide receiver, or just get best player available? We've seen Emeka Bukafull at the 111. Matthew Golden just went at the 111, if I'm not mistaken. If he gets that first round draft capital, put Emeka on this team, put Matthew Golden on this team. You have then you have the flexibility.
In a non-premium, I kind of agree that you don't need to address tight end, but it just depends on how the draft.
It just depends on the draft goals, their draft capital, their landing spot. It all depends. But if both of those guys are off the board before, you still have Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid, who obviously had an underwhelming season, and then Ben Sinnott, who is still, if Zach Ertz doesn't re-sign, he could be the future with this team. So,
by the way, Kincaid did play with an injury all year. If you want to have any glimmer of hope
at the end of the tunnel, 100%.
Also, I'm happy to report that Sam Darnold is unlikely to be franchise tagged by the Vikings.
Which means he'll be likely to get a big contract by the Minnesota Vikings.
Which means that a team is going to give him a bag, and the Vikings probably aren't going to match it with J.J. McCarthy on the roster. You can see whatever your narrative is, whatever you're trying to push, you can make it work. And my narrative is J.J. McCarthy season, baby. And I want it to be so bad.
Some say it's Daniel Jones season.
Yeah, could be. All right, so let's go to the chalkboard here. Sticking and picking. I'm grabbing Ashton Genty in a league like this. And
a lot of 101s today, by the way.
Yeah, right. And again, if you're going to sell it, it has to be either Jahmyr Gibbs or it has to be Bijan Robinson. There is no other move for this team. I mean, there are a number of wide receivers we would sell it for, actually, like Malik Neighbors. Your CeeDee Lambs of the world. Huh?
Yeah. I'll say Brock Bowers, CeeDee Lambs, and stuff like that.
Right. Your CeeDee Lambs, your... He's already got Jefferson. You know, like that kind of range. Okay, so and the point is, if you sell it in this league, you need to get a premium player. At the 111, you're in a position where it is probably wide receiver or tight end, right? We'll take out these quarterbacks because it's a one quarterback league. So you're probably looking at one of these 4 options depending on draft capital. Igbuka, Golden, Loveland, Warren. Now, if Igbuka, like in today's mock draft that we used as the example, Igbuka went to the Commanders. It was a first round, but it's really tough to digest. You just don't really know, is that another JSN rookie year, a Roma Dunze rookie year with Deebo Samuel there and Terry McLaurin? But you had Golden, who went to the Rams. If the Rams actually move on from Cooper Kupp and Stafford's there for the first year, Golden would be an incredible addition to this team in that scenario, right? But let's say they both go in unfavorable positions, or somehow they both go in round 2, and these Loveland is a Charger, Warren is a Bronco, then you could very easily take these guys. Even though there's no tight end premium, it is still a smaller starting lineup, and that still gives the top end tight ends an advantage to your league, you know? Matthew says, I was offered Gibbs, or this is actually Bree, by the way.
I was offered Gibbs for the 101.
Wow.
With this team, would you pull the trigger? I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally would pull the trigger. We've been saying all off season. There's only a couple names that we would do, and Jahmyr Gibbs is definitely on that list. I don't think we put it here today. I don't know why. Probably just slipped our minds. But
no, we did.
I mean, we will do that.
Okay, hold on a second. So this team is about to have Lamar, Gibbs, Jacobs, Jefferson, Deebo, Kincaid, and then we're going to start Ricky Pearsall and James Conner. That's strong.
Ooh.
That's a strong lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Look, like, there's the only possibility is that the offer is taken away. And when I say that, I mean Genty falls to the Steelers or something at 20, and people are like, I prefer Gibbs, you know? Yeah. But if Genty goes to like the Cowboys at pick 12, he's still going to be just as valuable as Gibbs and Bijan. Some people might put him ahead.
Yeah, it's just going to be preference by then. So
yeah, I'm fine with that. If you can guarantee a young Jahmyr Gibbs on your roster with this roster here.
I agree.
I wonder if you can net something else if they're willing to do that. What does that Gibbs team have? Like, if it's already offered, can you try and sneak back? You know, can you add a Jalen McMillan here and then send them something else? Just hypothetically, let's play this out. So Jalen McMillan joins our team, and we send the 101 and
well, I feel
Coker.
Like Coker, yeah, we can do.
Coker might be perfect. Myers, you know, that kind of range.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Tillman maybe. Or, you know, I love me some pick swaps and love that Evie went there, right? A future third, and you get a future second or something. But ultimately, if you feel like that's going to, like, for example, if that offer is already in your inbox, and if you feel like you're going to counter and make them shut the door, I would just accept it. Like, if you feel like there's a possibility, if this is a reasonable person and you feel like you can send a counter and see how far you can stretch it, feel free to do that. But if this is a person where you're like, if I upset them, they will close the door, I am completely fine to take Jahmyr Gibbs. You do not need to stretch it out. You know what I mean? You don't want them to pull the offer off the table. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. So
love that. But anyway, if you end up not doing it, you still get like one of Genty and Igbuka, Gold, and Loveland Warren, one of those names, right? And then down here at this part of the draft, we have no idea exactly what that will be at this point. Now, the other option is you can trade for vets, and we already talked about young superstar at the 101. How about at the 111, a vet running back, wide receiver, tight end.
You already know what it is. You already know what it is.
Well, I'll throw out DJ Moore. I think you would need to add like Cedric Tillman or maybe Jalen Coker to get in that range. I wouldn't sell DJ Moore for that cheap, but I will add it as consideration.
Yeah.
Would you buy Olave for that price?
The one, just for the 111. Man, that's tough. I think I'd rather have Waddle with Tua long term.
Right. What if they draft Shador Sanders? Yeah, it's a really weird part of the draft for trying to add a player to your team.
At the 111, yeah, I can't really. I said go for a vet, but now thinking about it, I don't think the value is there at the 111 specifically for wide receiver. Because if I'm not mistaken, that's like the George Pickens, the DKs, like you said, the Chris Olave. So
Terry,
I think we would rather just wait and see.
Ayuk, DK, Jameson.
I'd rather wait and see what I can get for.
I think DJ Moore we'd be comfortable with. Outside of that,
100%. That's probably the only one I feel really confident.
I might want to
DJ
hold
Moore.
and see if this draft is as good as it is, because that late first, it could technically improve in value.
Yeah.
As far as tight end, I don't really feel like there's a tight end I really want to invest in with the 111. Like, you're not going to get McBride, and I don't really know that I want to buy Laporta for a first, as good as he is.
No. I think
But
that's okay.
if the Laporta owner has some sort of tier or picks that we could get in return, okay, this could work. So let's say like Sam Laporta plus. Okay, so they have the 201 and the 211. So for example, if it was a 201, we'd have to also send them like Jalen Coker, for example, is a big hype name, or Tillman. In this world, I'm totally fine with it. We could also send them Jacoby Myers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Would you add Scary Terry? Would Addison or Terry? Addison's probably safe, but there's a possibility that you get like a Burden that late and he goes round 1, or a Golden who goes round 1, and you can reset the clock.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like,
Depending on how the draft goes, I would be okay with Addison. As far as Terry goes, with Debo being there, I don't think it hurts him, but I do think it makes me not want to spend a first on Terry.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think you're in a spot where, like, with the 111 specifically for me, I would just wait and see what falls to me, and then see who wants somebody. Because, like, let's just say Mika Buka is there at the 111. Maybe somebody's willing to overpay and wait if they're on a rebuilding team, right? So, like,
you've already got a lot of vets. I think that's why we are a little bit hesitant as well to add more, because we do want to we don't want to go so in where the team is it puts you straight into windows open. You still want to stay young and have a little fun upside there, right? Because outside of Gibbs, there'd probably be no one under the age of 25 on this team, Gibbs and Pearsall, that you're like relying on. So adding an Ibuka, I think I'd rather do than. Hey, look, Addison's young, but like than a Terry, for example.
Yeah.
Kind of want to extend the window as long as I can. But that is probably the route we go. There are no obvious sells. Like, I'd like to keep Debo on this team. Connor, I'd like to keep to compete on this team. You can't sell Love in a one quarterback for much of anything.
No, you can't.
I'd say like Coker. This is a 12 team, so Coker's a hive name. I like Coker, but I wouldn't be opposed to selling him for, like the 204 to the 208 range.
I agree. I'm not. I think they're gonna bring in a wide receiver, and Coker's maybe fade into the abyss there.
Amari Cooper, if you can get any second in a year, you'd be, very happy. I don't think you can. Now, if in free agency he signs somewhere, maybe that's possible. Outside of that, I think most of these are holds.
Yeah, let us know if you have any more questions there, Bree. This is a good team. I think you're only a couple pieces away from competing. And you just have to. I think it actually really helped you that Debo got traded, having Ricky and Debo. Like it just opened up. It opened up your team to more possibilities, because without that trade, we would have been like, "Ooh, you're actually really short on depth."
Yeah, even in a small league, we would have said that. But I think you're right. That was such a good trade for this team here. But yeah. Again, the floor is yours, Bree. Please let us know if there's anything else that you wanted answered, and we will be happy to answer. And while we are waiting on her, just so you guys know, the queue is now empty. You see Bayou Blaze up here. He's an offline review. So if you're out there and you want to get your team reviewed on the very next stream, you can get your team playbook, which customized game plan. You get sent this after we do the live review, right? But you can get it by becoming an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, annually Mother Flocker. Or you can go to the Flock store if you're on a different promo code and purchase one with the store. Just get the live tier if you want it done live. Or you can purchase one, by the way, through the store, even if you're a member with us or not a member with anyone, right? Yep. So those links are in the description. The annual membership link is in the pinned comment. And when you become the annual member, by the way, you get the rookie report, you get the team playbook, the team review, free trade question voucher, unlock our rankings, all of our premium tools and databases on the site, every draft guide on the site, and of course, you're keeping the lights on here for Badaki and myself. So appreciate you guys big time. And with Bree saying she is happy, she said, "Thank you. I was told to call you koalas. I appreciate you." That's funny.
No, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support.
That is going to be it for today. Over a 3-hour stream, I think, but it was a fun one.
Yeah, it was a fun one, and we'll see you tomorrow. Mañana, as always. Yeah,
we'll do a startup mock draft tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then. DM me if you have any questions about signing up, and nothing but love. See you guys.
Love.